We've covered the employment experience from just about every angle at this point, so here it is, all in one video for you to enjoy. Thank you guys so much for the support on all of these videos. It really means the world to me. So whether you have a job, or you had a job but you don't anymore, or you want a job, or you want to be unemployed for the rest of your life, this video is going to have something for you. The channel is also growing super fast, so if you like what I'm doing, the best ways to help out are obviously liking and subscribing, but also hyping up the video and leaving the video running for a long period of time. YouTube wants people on YouTube, and so the longer you're watching a video, the longer you're on YouTube, which they like. But whatever. This is the full employment experience. Let's get into it. And if you watch the whole thing, I guarantee you, you're not employed.
Phobia?
Yeah.
Manual labor, you know that.
So, you're a teenager with a job. Congratulations, you've entered the exciting world of minimum wage, awkward customer interactions, and totally unnecessary life lessons from your 40-year-old manager who treats this like NASA mission control. Welcome to the grind, and by grind, I mean getting yelled at because someone's fries were cold. Teenage jobs suck so much for so many reasons. All of your fire-ups are endlessly trying to find ways to exploit you, and you gotta put up with so much bullshit just because this job experience looks good on your resume. Thinking back to my teenage jobs, I don't think I could be more grateful that YouTube worked out. But first off, let's talk about getting the job. So, you walk into a store with your fresh resume, a resume that says absolutely nothing because, let's face it, the only experience you have is either babysitting or dog walking, but somehow you're expected to write it like you're applying to be the CEO of Apple. Writing resumes in your teens is all about fluffing the absolute hell out of any and all work experience you've had. If you stocked shelves for a grocery store, no. On the resume, you're a product placement specialist and inventory management coordinator. Or if you folded clothes at like Hot Topic, let's try textile display strategist and consumer engagement associate. But let's say you got lucky and the resume you submitted to the job is actually being considered and they want you to go in for an interview. It's so funny because a lot of these jobs need you far more than you need them. You're not relying on the measly minimum wage that you get from working after school hours to afford rent or food. You're just there because the experience is good and mom and dad have stopped paying for your video games. But let's say you're at the interview, they'll hit you with a question, a real head scratcher. This one's a classic. Why do you want to work here? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. Money, maybe? Let's start with that. Or how about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Probably not still folding t-shirts at Gap. That question is so funny. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's funny because A, it has nothing to do with your skills or qualifications for the job, and B, there's no way to answer it. You can ask a married 30-year-old that question and he could probably give you a good answer, but the chances the interviewer gets a response other than like, I don't really know, I haven't thought about it, is basically 5%. Most of the time, if you get called in for an interview, you're very likely to have guaranteed the position. The interview is mostly to just see you in person and gauge whether or not you're a psychopath. So if you manage to convince the interviewer that you're not going to rob them, cause a fight with your coworkers, or do any other crazy shit, congrats, you got the job. Now, your first day on the job, they'll throw you on the floor with zero training, expecting you to know everything. Here's the cash register, the inventory system, and by the way, the ice cream machine is broken, so good luck explaining that to customers. And let's not forget the uniform. Why do all teen jobs have the ugliest uniforms on earth? Like, you either look like a highlighter or someone's stepdad at a barbecue. Meanwhile, your coworkers are no help either. There's a guy who's been there for years and hates his life.
I hate this shit, bro. You guys don't pay me enough. Don't pay me enough. I hate this shit.
If you've ever wished payday came sooner, this might actually help. There's a banking app called Current with a bunch of useful features, and one of the main ones is that it lets you access up to $750 of your paychecks early if you qualify. With Current, you get a full set of features like paycheck advance, fee-free overdraft, the build card, and more. Paycheck advance is my favorite, but if you're focused on building credit or just want a smoother way to manage your money, it handles everything in one app. I really like the app myself, which is why I've partnered with them, and right now they're giving $75 to anyone who signs up using my link or scans the QR code on screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign up page where you can create your account. Just go through the normal sign up steps, enter your information, and order your Current card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option pop up to enter my promo code. The code is CHEATS, pretty obvious, the name of my YouTube channel, which unlocks the $75 bonus when you switch your direct deposit. So make sure you go through the full sign up process so you don't don't miss it. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful or tight sometimes, it's definitely worth just checking out because that's literally what it's designed for, helping people like you stay more on top of your finances. There's the new girl who acts like she's in charge because she's worked there for 3 weeks longer than you. If none of that resonated with you, I'm just gonna say you got lucky. Most teen jobs are chaotic and hectic. When, let's say, a store first opens and they're hiring teens for the first time, the manager will be patient and understanding with their first sort of wave of hires. But by like the fourth wave of teen hires, they're just so done explaining shit to people. But the good news is the manager and the coworkers, at least they're on your team, and they'll probably be nicer to you than the customers. Now listen, customers, they're either like overly friendly, talking about how's school going, champ, or complete nightmares who treat you like you're the CEO of Target. Why is this $4.99? I want to speak to a manager. Lady, I make $8 an hour. Do I look like I make the rules? I feel like customers sometimes intentionally ask teen hires for stuff that they know they can't fulfill. Let's say something's out of stock, they ask you, yo, can you just like check in the back, please? Oh yeah, let me just go ahead to this mystical back where we apparently keep everything you've ever dreamed of. Spoiler alert, it's just empty boxes and a mop bucket. Or like, can you give me a discount for this? Bro, I can barely give you the right change. But hey, look at you, you landed the job, you've been working, and now it's time for you to get paid. You know, this is what you came for, bro. Let's take a look. That sweet paycheck, it's all worth it, right? Wrong. You work 2 weeks busting your ass, and then you see your first paycheck for $143.62 after taxes. Great. That's enough to buy a tank of gas and a fast food meal. Surely I'm living the dream. Obviously, the pay isn't going to be great because you're doing something very low skill. It is your first job. But these paychecks they're just not going to cut it anymore, man. Like with the prices of like everything, $143 in this economy for 2 weeks of goddamn work, I do not think that's going to suffice. You bring home your first paycheck, your mom's like, is that my little working boy? Hold up that paycheck. Let's get a photo of you holding it. She really does think it's all fun and games, you know, treating me like I'm role playing. You have to understand there are real people who work these jobs. She thinks it's cute. She thinks it's cute that I made this kind of money. In your head, you're like, Mom, if you saw how these shifts were going, you'd understand why I'm not so thrilled about this whole photo ordeal.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer every night.
I've also noticed that higher-ups say just complete nonsense to try to keep the teens going, dropping motivational quotes and wisdom as a substitute for a bonus or a pay increase. You're sweating like a pig and you're wondering when it's going to be over. Manager comes in and is like, yeah, you know, you're doing so great. I'm sure this job is really going to build character. No, it's going to build resentment. I don't know why they do this. My theory is that they're trying to make themselves feel better about overworking people. You could be working outside in the summer with an excessive heat warning with the sun blaring down on you, and your manager would say something like, you know what, the sun's just so good for you, like the vitamin D is so essential for hormone and the endocrine system, and you're like, I want to rip your head off right now. If it's so great, why don't we trade places? I'm down, I'd take that trade any day of the week. Sounds like you really want it. Oh, you don't? Interesting. I guess to lighten the mood for a second, there are a few tiny perks. Like if you work at a fast food place, you'll get the occasional free fries, or if you're in retail, you master the art of folding clothes, which is super useful when your mom yells about your laundry pile. No, but actually, they'll probably give you like a store discount that you can give to your friends. And although you may hate it in the moment, the stories you'll get from these experiences will be fun to tell at a later date. I think the most obvious one too is you actually could make good friends with your coworkers. I mean, if they're around the same age as you, you're probably having some interest overlap. Especially nowadays, we have this monoculture of TikTok where if you are a teenager, you are part of this culture, whether you like it or not, which does make it easier for you to bond with other people your age. You're also going to be constantly tricked into covering a shift. You know, like the classic, can you cover my shift text starts off innocent, like, hey, can you take my Tuesday shift? Something came up. And before you know it, you're always the backup, you know? But the moment you ask them to cover for you, it's suddenly, oh, I'm busy that day. Yeah? Busy doing what? Breathing? Thanks for nothing, Ashley. But this will be the first time you experience one of the best feelings of all time, and it's getting paid to take a shit. When you have to use the bathroom on company time and you're using the company toilet, you will have a euphoric rush once the realization hits you mid-shit that you're on the clock. It's like one of the best feelings ever. Like, shitting on company time is like, it might be better than crack. And I haven't tried crack, but I've certainly shit on company time, and I'll tell you, it's gonna be hard to beat. And I don't, mean to be graphic and to talk about poop for too long, but like, it really is just the best kind of shit ever. If we're to rank shits real quick, I mean, I think there's obviously the shit that fixes your stomach ache, that's up there, but shitting on company time might be the best thing ever. But But yeah, that's the life of a teenager with a job. It's chaotic, exhausting, and it's downright ridiculous. But hey, it builds character, or at least that's what the manager says. But let's be real, it mostly builds your tolerance for annoying people, so hang in there, collect your paycheck, and remember, it's just a stepping stone to bigger and better things, like quitting and sleeping in, so...
Phobia. Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
Getting a summer job sounds cool until you actually have one. You think you'll be making some easy money, maybe pick up some skills, but nah. You're just getting underpaid to suffer in the heat while strangers take their bad day out on you. Let's talk about the different types of summer jobs in no particular order. They all suck in their own special way. Starting things off, we have fast food. Fast food sounds like the default summer job. You're home from school, you need money, and hey, how bad could it be, right? Turns out, very. First off, the kitchen is basically a sauna with deep fryers. It's 100 degrees outside, but somehow 120 behind the counter. You're sweating through your uniform before you even clock in. You try to zone out, but the headset's crackling, the fryer's spitting, and you're juggling 6 orders while someone's screaming that their Diet Coke has ice in it. You clock out covered in grease, exhausted, and too tired to enjoy the money that you made. And the worst part, you do it all again tomorrow, because you thought that this would be easy. Even your days off, the smell doesn't leave. Your shoes are permanently crusty, your shirts have invisible grease stains, and you developed a trauma to the word manager. The worst part is no one respects you for it. People act like fast food workers are just lazy or dumb, but they wouldn't last 15 minutes behind the counter before crying. You're out here doing mental math, multitasking like crazy, and dodging oil splashes like it's a combat sport. And sure, you're making money, but by the time you Uber to work, grab a snack after your shift, and replace your 3rd ruined shirt, you're basically breaking even. So yeah, fast food in the summer, it builds character, but it mostly just builds rage. Listen, it's summer, you've got time, you've got your phone, so why not make some money? Free cash is the easiest way to earn real cash online. You try out apps, play games, or take quick surveys, and they pay you. The average user cashes out in just 17 minutes, and over $50 million has already been paid out. You can cash out instantly with gift cards, PayPal, crypto, and a ton of other options. No waiting, no points, just real money. It's free to sign up, super easy to use, and you can start earning today. Guys, don't let summer leave you broke. Hit the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code on screen and start now. Big thanks to Free Cash for sponsoring this video. Next up, we have the lifeguard. Lifeguarding sounds chill until you're 5 hours into a shift, it's 100 degrees out, and you haven't blinked in 45 minutes. You're posted up in a plastic chair that feels like it was forged in hell, slowly cooking like a rotisserie chicken. Kids are dive bombing into the shallow end like it's a war zone. You blow the whistle, shout, "No running," again, and they look at you like you're the problem. Every kid thinks they're invincible. Every parent thinks you're the reason their child swallowed pool water. And when something does actually happen, a nosebleed, a bee sting, or some kid panicking in 3 feet of water, suddenly it's all eyes on you, like you're about to perform CPR and win an Olympic medal for heroism. But most of the time, you're just sitting there, baking, getting dehydrated, zoning out, and praying a cloud shows up so you can stop hallucinating for 30 seconds. Oh, and let's not forget the reapplying sunscreen every 2 hours like your life depends on it, because it does. You signed up to guard lives, not to lose your skin to UV rays in the process. And what do you get for all that pressure? $13 an hour and a free popsicle if you're lucky. Meanwhile, you're risking sun poisoning and early onset back problems from sitting in the same stiff position all day. You reapply sunscreen every 90 minutes, you can't bring headphones, you can't zone out, you can't blink for too long without feeling like you're about to miss a disaster. It's not a job, it is a human scarecrow position with slightly more liability. Next up, we have the golf caddy. You carry the bags for dudes who treat golfing like it's a personality trait. They show up in polos that cost more than your entire outfit and immediately start trauma dumping their divorce mid-swing. You ask, "What club do you want?" And they answer with, "Let me tell you about the time I almost went pro." Cool, man, can we not do this on hole 3? They ask where you go to school, then pretend to know your major better than you do. They give you life advice you didn't ask for. Don't take life too seriously. You gotta invest early. You remind me of me when I was your age. Bro, you've been rich since birth. I'm out here sweating through my socks, carrying your clubs like a peasant in a Renaissance fair. You nod like they're back in my day stories matter, all while pretending you know what a pitching wedge is. You're trying to act professional, but you're one sunburn away from quitting mid-round, and the pay, barely worth it unless you get lucky with tips. And even then, it's like pulling teeth. You just hauled 50 pounds across 18 holes in a 90-degree weather, and they hit you with a crumpled 5 and a handshake. It's not a summer job, it's unpaid emotional labor with bonus back pain. But here's the thing, if you're in a rich area, this job low-key prints. Some of these guys guys drop tips like they're allergic to singles. You just walked around, made small talk, and now you're holding $100 in cash and a Gatorade. Sure, your back hurts and your pride's gone, but you just made in 4 hours what some people make in a week flipping burgers. It's still a grind, it's still awkward, but if the zip code's bougie enough, caddying might actually be the best summer job on this list. Just prepare for mild heat stroke, upper class small talk, and hearing the phrase, "You've got potential," way too many times. Next up, we have being a day camp counselor. They call it a leadership opportunity. Sounds fancy, like you're guiding the next generation or something. In reality, you're in charge of 30 chaotic kids whose only goal is to make you quit. It's day camp, so you show up early thinking, cool, I get to go home at night. Yeah, after 9 hours of absolute madness, by 10 a.m., someone's crying, someone's bleeding, and someone's got gum stuck in their hair. You are constantly out in the sun, no shade, no break, and no patience. At least the lifeguard gets to sit still. You're constantly moving. The arts and crafts table is a war zone. You got glitter everywhere, glue on your shorts, markers in someone's mouth. You turn your back for 2 seconds and a kid's trying to cut grass with safety scissors. You spend most of your time saying things like, "Get it off the table, don't put that in your mouth, where are your shoes?" And no one ever has an answer. Lunch is a joke. The pay is barely above minimum wage if you're lucky. Oftentimes it's below minimum wage because a lot of these camps don't even pay you hourly. They give you a flat rate for the whole summer. So you're getting like $1,200 for 8 weeks of nonstop chaos, and they'll try to spin it like, well, you get free lunch. Cool, I'm still getting paid $4 an hour to eat a soggy turkey sandwich while preventing a game of tag from turning into a full-blown fight. You're refereeing dodgeball death matches, getting screamed at by 9-year-olds who think Uno is a contact sport, and some parent still has the audacity to complain because their kid came home with dirt on their shorts. Like, sorry, this isn't a spa, it's a summer camp. There's grass. Next up, we got the retail shift that never ends. Retail in the summer is just folding clothes that people immediately unfold. You spend 20 minutes perfectly stacking shirts, and then some teenager walks in, pulls one from the bottom, and leaves the whole pile looking like a garage sale. Someone's always asking for a discount on something that's already 90% off. This was cheaper last week. Yeah, and gas used to be $2. The times change. You're also expected to push loyalty programs like your rent depends on it. Would you like to sign up today? No one ever does, but if you stop asking, your manager acts like you committed retail treason. The fitting room is a disaster zone. Clothes inside out, hangers on the floor, tags missing, and for some reason, always someone leaves behind one single sock, and it's not even from your store. You find iced coffee cups in the jeans, chewed gum stuck to the mannequins. The AC never works, the music plays on loop, and by hour 6 of your shift, you've memorized the entire store playlist, and you started questioning your own existence somewhere between Dua Lipa and Imagine Dragons. Next up, we have the grocery store simulation. This is just retail, but with more old people asking why bread isn't 50 cents anymore, and acting like you personally caused inflation. You're stuck bagging groceries for people who treat you like you're invisible until you accidentally put canned beans on top of their eggs and suddenly you're public enemy number 1. Every conversation is either way too personal or painfully awkward. Someone's telling you about their hip surgery while you're scanning cucumbers. Another person's staring at you in silence while their card declines and pretends it's your fault. And the self-checkout machine, oh, that thing hates you. It freezes, it glitches, it calls for assistance needed every 2 items. Then customers get mad like you programmed it. You're over there scanning coupons like a speedrunner while trying not to snap in front of a 9-year-old buying Takis. And let's not forget the summer rush. People buying for cookouts, parties, family reunions. It never ends. You're lifting 12 packs of soda while sweating through your polo and then just praying someone brings you a cold Gatorade out of pity. It's a grocery store, but at the end of your shift, it feels like a psychological experiment.
Phobia. Yeah. Manual labor, you know that.
There are 2 things that make or break your job: the pay and the people you're forced to work with. And since the pay is probably garbage, let's talk about the real reason you're clocking in with a headache: the coworkers. Now, I've had my fair share of jobs, and at every single one, there's always one person that ruins it for everyone else. So let's break down the types of coworkers, and let's just get into it. Starting it off, we have the overachiever. This person shows up every day like they're training for the Olympics of customer service. They don't walk, they power stride. They don't talk, they announce. And you just know they've got a notebook at home with color-coded tabs labeled tasks nobody asked me to do, ways I can passive-aggressively make everyone else look lazy, and smile practice. They volunteer to do the job that you're already doing just to prove that they're better at it. Like, oh, I'll take over cleaning the grill. No, I'm already here. I'm literally wiping it right now. They treat everything like a competition. You say you closed 3 registers last night, and they're like, oh, I actually did 4, and I also restocked the freezer and trained a new hire while fasting. Congrats, man, you win. You get absolutely nothing. The manager didn't even notice. They were too busy vaping behind behind the building. All right, number 2, the trauma dumper. This is the one coworker who mistakes work for group therapy. You say something simple like, hey, how's your day going? And suddenly you're being hit with, my cousin just got out of jail, my boyfriend stole my car again, and I'm starting to think that my dog is racist. Like, bro, it's 9 a.m. I'm just trying to eat my Pop-Tart in peace. The worst part is you never know how deep they're gonna go. You might just be trying to split a shift and suddenly you're knee-deep in childhood trauma, failed relationships, and some weird pyramid scheme they joined last year. And it's always like when you can't leave, like you're trapped at the register while they're behind you telling you their life story, and the customer in line is just standing there like, damn, you good, bro? Now you've accidentally become their emotional support coworker. You didn't sign up for this. You just wanted to bag groceries and go home, but now you know more about their divorce than their own lawyer does. All right, next up we got the flirt. This person treats the workplace like a dating app. They're not even subtle either. They're walking around winking, calling people babe, offering back rubs in the break room. It's like they came for a job and they stayed for the situationship. They flirt with everyone. New hires, managers, customers, the health inspector. It's all fair game. They'll lean on the counter like, you really gonna clock out without saying goodbye? Yeah, I value my peace. They'll ask things like, so what do you do outside of work? Like, we're both not standing in hairnets surrounded by frozen chicken nuggets. Like, yeah, I climb mountains and I solve crimes in my spare time. What do you do besides flirt with anyone that has a pulse? They never really do their job either. They're always on break, which somehow means standing right next to you, breathing down your neck and asking what star sign you are. Like, I'm not a Virgo, I'm clocking out. All right, next up we got the clock watcher. This one is spiritually gone. Like, yeah, their body's there. They might even be standing near the register, but mentally, they're on a beach. In their mind, the shift has already ended. They check the clock every 10 minutes, like something's gonna change. They'll be like, yeah, how long till break? You'll say 30 minutes, 5 minutes later. Okay, how long now? And I can't even hate because I am this person sometimes. And you know it's a bad day when they start making deals with themselves. Like, okay, if I make it to 3 p.m., I'll reward myself with a soda. If I survive till 4:15, I'll pee. If I make it to clock out without quitting, I'll eat a cookie. And they do the bare minimum, like bare. They'll pick up one box and act like they just rebuilt Rome. Oh my god, I'm exhausted. You've been sitting on a stool in front of the fan. But hey, at least you're not causing the chaos. They're just surviving. And honestly, in this economy, it's valid. Next up, we got the drama addict. You could be having the most normal shift and this person will pull up like, okay, so did you hear what happened between Jessica and Brandon? No, and I didn't want to, but now I have to. They know everything. Who got written up, who's dating, who's getting fired, who cried in the freezer. They're like the gossip Google Doc of the workplace. They'll whisper stuff to you like, don't tell anyone I said this, but, and then go tell someone else that you said it. Working with them feels like being on a reality show that you didn't audition for. You'll be stocking the shelves and they'll go, don't look, but the guy in aisle 3 is the reason Brittany almost quit. I'm just trying to scan some soup, bro. The worst part is they love conflict. If there's drama, they're not running from it, they're narrating it, adding commentary, throwing in plot twists. If you ever hear the phrase, I'm not trying to start anything, but they're absolutely trying to start something. All right, next up we got the this isn't my job guy. Oh, this guy's legendary. You ask him to do literally anything slightly outside of his normal routine and he's like, yeah, that's not really my department.
Pull your pants up and fix your hat. Take the trash out, sir. Okay, come on. Come out. Come on. Come on. Okay.
Bro, you're not on a cruise ship. We all work the same register. You'll be drowning in customers, phones ringing, register smoking, and he'll be over in the corner alphabetizing candy bars like that's what's keeping the business alive. He'll say things like, yeah, I just stay in my safe zone. Your zone is useless if the whole building's on fire. And you just know the manager asks, like suddenly he's everyone's hero. Oh yeah, I helped clean up earlier. No, you didn't. You helped watch me suffer. Next up, we got the new hire that's already better than you. This one hurts. They've been there for like, what, a week? 2? And somehow they've already mastered the system, memorized the schedule, befriended the manager, and organized the stock room. Meanwhile, you've been here for over a year and you don't even know how to clock out without asking. They say stuff like, oh, I just picked it up quick. Bro, are you secretly the founder of the company? They correct you on procedures. Oh, actually, we're supposed to do it like this. Oh, sorry, dude, I didn't realize I was talking to the chosen one. And the worst of all, they like the job. They're smiling, whistling, excited to be there. Like, bro, give it 3 more shifts and a customer who yells at you over coupons, and you'll join the rest of us in suffering. We're bringing it home with the mysterious one, the ghost. They're on schedule, they exist technically, but no one has physically seen them in months. You hear their names all the time. Oh yeah, Brian was supposed to work that day. Brian? Bro, Brian is a myth. He's not real. He's a workplace urban legend. One time you thought you saw him, but he was just a guy from a different department. They always have some bizarre excuses too, like, oh yeah, I've just been sick for 3 weeks, but I might come in next Thursday. Might? What are you, a seasonal Pokemon? But what's crazy is they never get fired. They're like a protected species.
There's an endangered species right there.
They just float on schedule forever, haunting it like a spreadsheet ghost. Next up, we got the wannabe manager. This person is not the manager. They have never been the manager. They will never be the manager, but that has never stopped them from acting like they run the whole company. They'll give you tasks like they're assigning missions. Hey, when you're done, can you restock aisle 4? Who are you, the president of retail? You ask when they clock out and they hit you with, well, technically I stay until everything's in order. You are paid hourly, go home. They're always using corporate phrases like, yeah, we just need to streamline the communication, or let's make sure we're aligned as a team. Bro, you stock soda. You're not a motivational speaker. The worst part is the manager actually loves them, probably because they do the manager's job for free, and now you're stuck getting bossed around by a dude named Trevor who wears fingerless gloves and listens to Joe Rogan on his lunch break. Last but not least, we have the 1 foot out the door coworker. This person mentally quit months ago.
I fucking hate this job. I'm not working here anymore. I hate this shit, bro. You guys don't pay me enough. Don't pay me enough. I hate this shit.
They're just here until their music blows up or their clothing brand takes off, or they're finally ready to move to LA. Like, newsflash, they will not. They show up late, leave early, and somehow still act like they're doing you a favor just by being there. You ask them to do something simple and they hit you with, yeah, I don't even care anymore. Bro, I'm not gonna be here much longer. Yeah, you said that 2 paychecks ago, my guy. They keep a backpack on that at all times, like, any moment now I could walk out. Like, then they don't. They're the ones telling customers stuff like, you don't actually want to buy this. It's overpriced and it falls apart in a week. Then they turn to you and they say, yeah, I'm just being real. Like, no, you're being unemployed. But honestly, kind of a legend, because they're doing what we wish we could all do. Just say nah and walk away. The problem is they never actually do. They just linger like a TikTok trend that won't die. Anyway, that's the full roster. Coworkers are weird. Some of them become your best friends. Others are the reason that you fake coughing so you can leave work early. But together, well, you make the place either tolerable or a literal war zone.
Phobia? Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
Work is already hell. Waking up early, pretending to care, making small talk with a guy who eats tuna in the break room. It's brutal. But the only thing worse than having to work is embarrassing yourself at work. Because when you mess up at a job, it sticks. You could have saved the company from bankruptcy and people will still remember the time you said, love you, to your boss on the phone. Let's talk about the most cringeworthy moments at work, the ones that make you feel like you want to fake your own death and reapply under a new identity. First, we got getting caught stealing something dumb. Like you took a Red Bull from the fridge, maybe a few extra snacks from the break room, and you thought that this was low stakes, a victimless crime. They're not even name brand. Who's really gonna miss a bag of knockoff trail mix? Then suddenly there's an all-staff email. Just a reminder, food is for paying customers and stealing is a fireable offense. You feel it in your spine. You know it's about you. They didn't say your name, but you feel your name behind that passive-aggressive font. Now every move feels like surveillance. You open the fridge and someone from accounting appears like, getting hungry again, huh? They say it like a joke, but it's not a joke. You are now the designated fridge criminal. You try to play it cool. You start bringing your own lunch to prove you're innocent, even though you're the guiltiest motherfucker alive. You start leaving notes like, didn't take anything, just looking. You pretend to grab your own food just to throw them off. You know, you hear people whispering during lunch. You know that they're talking about you. Janet from HR won't make eye contact. Your manager starts locking her office even when she's just going to the bathroom. You weren't fired, but socially you're done. Now you're snack guy. And no matter how good you work, people will always remember the day you committed petty food theft and got away with it, technically. Next, we got asking out a coworker and getting rejected publicly. You thought there was a vibe, flirty eye contact, some inside jokes. She laughed at your dumb jokes about the printer, right? That's basically flirting. So you go for it. You catch her by the Keurig machine, try to keep it casual, like, hey, so I was thinking maybe we could grab a drink sometime. She pauses. Too long. That soul-killing pause where your brain already knows what's coming. Then she hits you with, oh, I didn't realize you saw me like that. Or worse, I'm actually kind of talking to someone. Or, even worse, laughter. You panic. You start backpedaling like, oh, no, it's chill. It was, like, just totally random. I didn't mean it like that. It was just like, funny idea, you know? I don't even drink. I hate bars. I'm gay now. Whatever it takes to escape. Then comes the real pain. She tells people. Not in a malicious way, just like she needs to process it. But now the office knows. The vibe shifts. You walk into the break room and 2 coworkers instantly go silent. Suddenly, you're the guy who asked out Emily. Not the hardworking team player. Not the reliable closer. No. Now you're the walking HR case that never fully happened. Every conversation feels loaded. Every smile she gives you feels forced. Every good morning sounds like pity. You didn't just get rejected, you got professionally rejected, which hits 10 times harder because now you still have to work with her every day, forever, like nothing happened, and deep down, you know the only solution is to change jobs, dye your hair, and pretend it never happened. Next, we have getting walked out after being fired. You knew this was coming. The signs were there. Your boss has been too nice lately. You've been getting left off emails. You spent half your shift on Indeed yesterday. Then comes the message. Hey, can we talk real quick in my office? That's HR speak for or prepare to lose everything. You sit down, they hit you with the classic. So, unfortunately, we've decided to go in a different direction. Oh, cool, different direction. You mean away from me entirely? You nod like it's fine, but your soul is screaming.
If you say your mom, you're fired. My mom? Get out! It was worth it!
Then, just when you think you'll at least get to leave quietly, they say, we'll need to walk you out. Walk me out? Like I'm a criminal? Like I'm gonna sprint back to my desk and steal a keyboard? Now you're doing the walk of shame with a box in your arm full of random junk you don't even want, a dead succulent, one half-broken pen, a Funko Pop that felt quirky when you got hired, now it just looks unemployed. The whole office goes silent. Everyone's pretending not to look, but they're definitely looking. You lock eyes with Chad from finance. You barely know him, but now he knows your deepest failure. He gives you that stay strong nod. You don't feel strong. The worst part is you still have to wait for the elevator, just standing there holding your cardboard shame, thinking, this is it. This is how my legacy ends, boxed up like a sad Amazon return. And even if you deserved to be fired, even if you hated the job, getting walked out like that, that's not just unemployment, that's emotional damage. All right, next up we have getting caught talking shit on the mic. So let's say you're in a Zoom meeting, the camera's off, the mic's off, at least you think it's off. Your manager's rambling about synergy or some fake deadline they made up on the spot, and you lean over to your coworker, or worse, you say out loud to yourself, bro, this guy is a fucking walking LinkedIn post. I can't stand him. Or she has no idea what she's talking about, like ever. And then it happens. Someone in the call goes, hey, your mic's on. Your stomach drops. You freeze. Your mouth's open like you just got caught stealing a baby. You look at the screen and your name is lighting up in that cursed little Zoom box. You're talking. They're hearing. Everyone heard. Your manager pauses. There's a weird silence, like everyone just watched a car crash in slow motion. You try to recover. You say, oh, haha, sorry, my cat stepped on my keyboard. Even though you don't have a cat. Even if you did, your cat didn't just call your boss delusional with weird shoes. Now you're just sitting there, fake smiling while your brain is writing your resignation letter in real time. From this point on, you're a ghost in that company. You don't get asked questions. You don't get invited to brainstorms. You don't even get to make eye contact in the hallway. You try to do damage control. I didn't mean you specifically. I was talking about like the corporate culture in general. Yeah, nice try. They know. You're finished. Best case scenario, you become a cautionary tale. The worst, you're on thin ice. And the ice is screaming. You didn't just talk shit. You live streamed your own downfall, and now every meeting is a hostage situation where you check your mic 12 times before speaking. All right, next we got crying at work and people seeing it. You swore it would never happen. You said, if I ever cry at work, I'm quitting immediately. And then it happens. Something pushes you over the edge. Maybe it's a passive-aggressive email. Maybe it's your boss throwing you under the bus. Maybe it's just everything all at once. You hold it in. You breathe. You stare at your screen like, don't fuck dare. But it's coming. The lip starts to wobble. The eyes glass up. That one single traitor tear slides down your cheek like it's clocking out early. You get up fast, you speed walk to the bathroom. You think you made it, but someone saw. You pass down accounting, and Denise hits you with the soft voice. Are you okay, hun? Now it's over. That one phrase, immediate emotional breakdown. You try to play it off. Oh, I'm just tired. Haha, allergies. Crazy morning. Yeah, allergies. That's why your soul is leaking out of your eyes. You lock yourself in the stall like it's a safe house, crying silently into one-ply toilet paper, hoping no one recognizes your shoes. And the worst part is you still have to go back to your desk, back to your chair, back to doing the same fucking email that broke you. From then on, people treat you different. They speak softer. They give you peace. Someone drops a little tea packet off at your desk like you just came back from war. You're no longer the hard worker. You're the one who cried that one time by the printer. Next, we have getting caught job hunting while at work. You were slick with it. You had Indeed open in a hidden tab, LinkedIn minimized behind a spreadsheet. You were moving like a corporate ninja. You thought they'll never know I'm looking for something better while I'm sitting in this hellhole. Then boom, your manager walks by. You panic. You click the wrong thing. Now your entire screen is a full-page listing titled How to Escape a Toxic Work Environment Immediately. Worse, you accidentally printed your resume to the shared printer. The shared printer! Now the whole office gets to enjoy your sad little bullet points. Team player with strong communication skills and a deep hatred for current role. You walk over to grab it and someone already has it in their hand. Oh, hey, is this yours? Yeah, yes it is. Please hand it back so I can go cry in the stairwell. Now your boss starts treating you weird. Less eye contact, no more, hey, how's it going? Just suspicion. And you can't even leave yet. You still need that next paycheck. So now you're stuck working hard at a job you publicly tried to flee. You didn't just burn a bridge, you lit up the entire fucking department and then try to pretend it never happened.
Phobia.
Yeah.
Manual labor, you know that.
We've already talked about the worst summer jobs, those little torture gigs you take as a teenager just to afford gas money. But now we're leveling up. We're talking about the worst jobs, period. The kind of jobs that don't just ruin your summer, they ruin your whole life. These are the ones where you wake up, stare at the ceiling, and seriously consider faking your own death just so you don't have to clock in. First off, we have the telemarketing villain. This isn't even a job. job. It's straight up villainry. You're literally paid to ruin people's day. Like, you could call someone in the middle of their wedding and the script still says, "Hi, have you considered switching your car insurance?" You're not a worker, you're a professional nuisance. And the worst part is there's no winning. The person on the phone hates you, you hate you, even your manager hates you, and his job is literally making sure that you annoy people. Nobody leaves happy. The customer slams the phone, you feel like garbage, and the company celebrates because you wasted someone's time. Every call is the same. You ring somebody and they either hang up immediately, curse you out, or if you get unlucky, they'll actually stay on the line. And that's when you're trapped reading a 7-page script about bundling services, knowing deep down you'd rather be hit by a bus. The whole system is rigged too. They give you this fake power list of potential customers, but it's just random phone numbers of people who already said no 100 times. You're not chasing leads, you're speedrunning how fast someone can block your number. Honestly, the only skill you walk away with from telemarketing is the ability to absorb pure hatred through a headset without crying. You don't build a resume, you just build a thicker skin and permanent ear trauma. It's not career experience, it's psychological warfare. Next up, we have the mascot nightmare. This one shouldn't even be legal. Being a mascot is basically community service for a crime you didn't commit. You're stuck inside a 50-pound sweat coffin shaped like a rat, a duck, or some other corporate nightmare, waving at kids who immediately treat you like a piñata. Parents are snapping photos while their toddler is roundhouse kicking you in the shin like you're training for UFC. And you can't do a thing about it. You can't talk, you can't fight back, you can't even flinch. Your whole identity is erased the second you zip up that costume. You're not Kyle from accounting anymore, you're Big Rat. You're not allowed to break character, which means if you trip down the stairs, you can't even scream. You just fall like a cartoon character, arms stiff, head bobbing, while everyone claps because they think it's a part of the show. And the heat, oh my god. You're basically slow cooking inside that thing. Every breath feels like inhaling soup. Most people don't understand that mascots aren't waving because they're happy. They're waving because it's the only motion keeping them from collapsing. You're one step away from heat stroke, but if you faint, you better faint in character. Chuck E. Cheese doesn't pass out. Chuck E. Cheese takes a fun little nap. The disrespect is unreal too. Parents let their kids beat you like a rented mule. Little Timmy just slapped the giant mouse across the face and the mom is laughing like it's peak comedy. Lady, I can't even see out of these eye holes. Your demon spawn just gave me a concussion. Meanwhile, the dad's making jokes like, bet you didn't think you'd be doing this when you grew up, huh? No, sir. When I was 6, I dreamt of being an astronaut, not a human punching bag inside a polyester coffin. The cherry on top, the pay. You're putting your body on the line, sweating out 3 gallons an hour, surviving concussions, assaults, and possible lawsuits, and you're making minimum wage. There are people in prison making more per hour, stamping license plates, and those guys at least get to show their faces. Being a mascot doesn't build character, it just kills whatever shred of dignity you had left. It's not a job, it's a fever dream punishment from a corporate overlord. You don't clock in as yourself, you clock in as a cartoon corpse, and when your shift finally ends, you take that helmet off and realize you just got paid $8 to get bullied by toddlers. That is not a career, that is community service with extra steps. You've got time, you've got your phone, so why not make some money? Free Cash is the easiest way to earn real cash online. You try out apps, play games, or take quick surveys, and they pay you. The average user cashes out in just 17 minutes, and over $50 million has already been paid out. You can cash out instantly with gift cards, PayPal, crypto, and a ton of other options. No waiting, no points, just real money. It's free to sign up, super easy to use, and you can start earning today. Guys, don't let summer leave you broke. Hit the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code on screen and start now. Big thanks to Free Cash for sponsoring this video. Alright, next up we have the fast food trap. Fast food isn't even work, it's survival mode on the hardest difficulty. You clock in and immediately it feels like you've been dropped into a sweatshop disguised as a kitchen. The fryer is spilling oil at you like it has a personal vendetta. The soda machine is foaming like a rabid dog, and the grill smells like it hasn't been cleaned since 1997. And the customers, bro, fast food customers are different. Some guy with a neck tattoo and 3 baby mamas is at the counter demanding his McDouble look like the photo. Like, sir, this is a $2 sandwich wrapped in paper thinner than toilet tissue, not gourmet entree. People will straight up scream at you because their nuggets are too nuggety. Drive-thru is its own form of psychological torture. That little headset makes you hear voices like a schizophrenic. Can I get a number 4 with no pickles, extra cheese, and also make the fries half crispy, half soft? Bro, this is a Burger King, not Build-A-Bear. Then when you mess up one thing, they look at you like you personally ruined their week. And you know what nobody talks about? The coworkers. Half the time you're working with a 16-year-old who's high, a 40-year-old who's dead inside, and a manager who thinks they're running the Pentagon because they got the keys to the walk-in freezer. They'll act like you committed treason because you forgot to restock the ketchup packets. And the worst part is you can't escape the smell. The fast food stench clings to you like a curse. Your clothes, your hair, your soul, it smells like air fryer. You go home, shower twice, and it still smells like fries. You could be buried in the ground for 20 years and archaeologists will dig you up like, yup, this one worked at Taco Bell. It doesn't matter where you work. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Wendy's, they're all the same. Different uniforms, same suffering. You don't get job experience working fast food. You get to bond with strangers at 2 a.m. over broken ice cream machines. Alright, next up we have prison guard. Being a prison guard is basically being a babysitter for the most unhinged people on planet Earth. Except these aren't toddlers throwing Legos. These are full-grown dudes throwing fists, chairs, and occasionally their own shit. And you're the referee. No whistle, no backup, you're just struggling. The job description is literally walk around a concrete box, stare at people who hate you, and hope nobody decides today's the day they test out a shank they made out of a toothbrush. And the crazy part is you can't win. If you're nice, the inmates think you're soft, and if you're strict, they hate you even more. Either way, you're the villain in someone's story. And every prison guard has that moment where they're like, damn, am I a cop or am I just a janitor for crime? Because half your shift isn't even breaking up fights, it's filing paperwork because two guys almost killed each other over a soup packet. That's your life. Gourmet chefs argue over caviar, millionaires argue over yachts. These dudes will risk 20 more years over ramen noodles. Your friends are out there working normal jobs. They're like, oh yeah, I just had to deal with a rude customer today. Cool, I had to deal with a guy who stabbed another guy 14 times. Different energy, Jessica. And the pay, don't even get me started. You're basically living inside of a live-action Grand Theft Auto server, but your paycheck looks like you work at Subway. That's the real crime. Honestly, a prison guard job is just early access to PTSD. Alright, last but not least, we have the warehouse worker. Now, obviously, they're not all built the same, but usually working in a warehouse is like signing up to be a human robot, except the robots actually get breaks. You're running back and forth with little barcode scanners like it's Call of Duty, except instead of kills, you're racking up packages of adult diapers and off-brand phone chargers for 10 hours straight. No windows, no sunlight, it's just you in a neon vest and the constant fear that Jeff Bezos himself is gonna pop out of the rafters and yell at you for walking too slow. They literally time your bathroom breaks. Like, if you take more than 3 minutes to pee, you're on thin ice. Imagine explaining to your manager, sorry boss, my bladder isn't Amazon Prime. It doesn't matter, you're still written up. Every shift feels like a game show called How Much Can a Human Suffer for $14 an hour? Spoiler alert, a lot. And you're not building anything, you know, at least fast food makes burgers, at least retail has customers. Warehouse work is just shuffling boxes for people you'll never meet. And you don't even feel like a worker, you just feel like a character in a simulation, just endlessly scanning, lifting, stacking until your spine files for divorce.
Phobia? Yeah. Manual labor, you know that.
At some point, we as humans decided that spending the majority of our waking hours doing something we all hate for a small amount of money just to get by was completely normal. Like, this is just how it goes. You wake up, you go to a place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you suffer quietly for 8 hours, then drive home and do it all again until you're 65 years old and your knees don't work. And look, I get it, bills are real, rent is real. A lot of people don't have the luxury of quitting or even an understanding of how to make money on their own, but there is a difference between a job that's like kind of boring and a workplace that is actively designed to make you feel like you made a series of very bad decisions in your life. So today we're talking about those places, the jobs where people start working just fine and come out a completely different person. These are the most miserable places to work, and by the end of this, you're gonna look at your current job very differently. If you happen to be new here, please consider subscribing. My goal is 200,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I think we can do it. But without further ado, let's start off by talking about the Amazon warehouses. Like, we have to start here. Amazon warehouses get brought up so consistently in conversations about bad working conditions that it's almost become a joke. Like, if you even utter the words Amazon warehouse, people already know that you're urinating in water bottles for your bathroom break. People use this job as a reference point for why their job could be worse. Like, the guy scooping Chipotle bowls for 10 hours a day is thinking to himself, well, at least I get to use a real bathroom. And these workers at Amazon fulfillment centers are tracked constantly. Their every movement is logged through handheld scanners that record dashboards, scan rates, idle time, and productivity scores in real time. There's a metric called TOT, it stands for time off task, and if yours gets too high, you can automatically be flagged for termination. This is a global company flag that the algorithm decides. I genuinely don't understand how people survive this. Like, what happens if you need to tie your shoe? Is that TOT? Are you burning precious flaggable seconds on your shoelace? Amazon warehouse jobs, they remind me of RuneScape. You're doing these long grinding tasks, trying to make absolutely zero XP waste with all of your movements and clicks, just to accomplish one quest. The turnover rate for this place was reportedly so extreme internally that Amazon was apparently burning through its entire available workforce in certain regions within just a few years. They were totally aware of this. I almost feel like they don't even care. They might bump up the working conditions slightly to improve the worker turnover rate until they find the perfect ratio of worker suffering to maximum efficiency. Pretty much seeing how much torture they can get away with before people quit. I haven't worked in a warehouse. I want to be clear about that. So if you have and you love it, then good for you. I don't think I ever could. I'll stick to my YouTube job. Thank you very much. At the very least, Amazon fulfillment centers do fulfillment. These call centers, which is next on the list, do nothing but annoy everybody. Call centers are a specific kind of misery that operates differently from warehouse work. Like, it isn't physical, it's psychological in a way that kind of sneaks up on you very slowly. So you sit at a desk, you put on a headset, and for the next 8 hours, strangers call you specifically to either yell at you, cry at you, or hang up on you. And you cannot hang up on them. That's the job. You sit there and you take it. You stay professional and apologize for things that are not your fault. You always gotta make sure to thank them for their patience when they hate every fiber of your being. The metrics in call centers are just as aggressive as the Amazon warehouse, like just structured differently. If a customer is furious about something that happened 3 shift changes ago and gives you a 1-star rating on the post-call survey, that score is yours. There's almost nowhere to appeal it. Then all the ones you've added up will count against your yearly performance review. It's absolutely brutal, and it's usually not because you did something wrong, it's just because the guy didn't get the resolution he wanted. Like, I've talked to some people who've worked for call centers for insurance companies and banks, and the one thing that keeps coming up is that the job itself might be manageable if they weren't on you constantly. But the combination of back-to-back calls with essentially no real break in between, constant monitoring of every metric, and absorbing other people's anger for hours eventually does something to your brain. Like, you know, how can you go from someone screaming in your ear and hanging up on you and trying to process it to, like, a millisecond later, a beep just goes off in your ear telling you the next call is live? That can make anyone want to jump off a bridge. Every friend that I have that does this always describes, like, coming home and just not wanting to talk to anybody. These people just are fully hollowed out from social interaction, and they grow kind of, what's the word? Is it myopic? No, it's misanthropic. It's pretty much someone, I'll just read what it says. It describes an attitude, behavior, or personality marked by a general hatred, dislike, or profound distrust of humankind. Anyway, moving on, we've got fast food. And fast food workers deal with so much disrespect, it's actually sad. Think about modern internet slang. One of the most demeaning things you can say to someone is to tell them to put the fries in the bag. Like, that's someone's job. When I was 10 years old, I remember being at a friend's house, and his dad took us to McDonald's, and his dad crashed out at the poor guy working at McDonald's because I think he forgot some sauce. This was like 15 years ago. And I made this promise to myself that I would never be on the other end of that. The issue isn't always the work itself. A lot of people who've done it will tell you that a busy shift actually goes fast. The problem is everything surrounding the work. The fact that these franchise owners think that a McDonald's located in the heart of New York City can function properly with 3 employees is insane. They are fulfilling 6,000 orders a day. It's really the quantity. You know, it's not the thing itself, it's how often you have to do it. I saw this video a while back where someone just filmed their entire McDonald's shift because they wanted people to see what it actually looks like. It's the GoPro footage you've seen probably. It just looks exhausting, and it's just for what, $7 an hour, maybe 10? That's just not gonna work. If you're maybe 15 years old, then you need a job, then go for it, but this should be a temporary thing for everybody. And look, it's not like a shameful thing. Like, if you're in a situation, then I totally get it, but your goal should be like, save as much money as possible, work as much as you can, and make a plan during all of this for where you're headed next. If you can make, what, $1,500 a month working at McDonald's, and you're maybe 19 or 20 and your parents kicked you out of your house, you could probably find some dog shit apartment to live in with a friend for like a few months while you're figuring stuff out. But as crazy as this sounds, some people will totally get normalized to that and not care after a certain point. You'd be surprised, after people figure out how they can live off a certain amount of money, a lot of the drive to earn more does kind of go away. So it's really about staying hungry and disciplined and like keeping that drive to do more inside of you. Next up, we've got DoorDash DoorDash/Uber Eats. The recruitment angle for gig delivery is one of the more impressive pieces of marketing manipulation that I've ever seen. The whole be your own boss thing, set your own hours, work as much or as little as you want. On paper, this sounds fucking awesome. You have a car and your phone, and if you need money, you can just drive around whenever you want. Sounds like it connects the dots. And the first couple weeks usually do feel fine. You'll pick up a few shifts and the money hits your account, so it feels really good. But then you start doing the math. If the gas is constant, you're not getting that subsidized. It is a continuous drain that follows you every single order you take. Your car is now a work vehicle doing work vehicle mileage, which means oil changes are coming faster, brake wear is happening 10 times as fast, your tires are bald after 2 days, and DoorDash nor Uber Eats give a fuck about that. So the real hourly rate after you subtract fuel and apply some rough estimate of vehicle wear, we're talking a $4 delivery becoming something like 75 cents of profit for 30 minutes of work. Everyone who does DoorDash usually ends up doing it for a few months, and then one car problem unravels the whole thing, and now you're fucked because you're not back at zero, you're literally in the negative. There's also no sick days, no health insurance, no unemployment. If you're out of work for a week or two, at least give these dudes some car warranty add-on for their hard work. My buddy Daniel was hyped at his DoorDash earnings and was putting in 10 hours of work a day, and then he forgot to change his oil for 2 months, and now he owes $12,000 in repairs for a blown motor, and he also still owes $20K for the car loan. These corporations are evil. I think the best way to do it is to rent some sort of electric car at $30 a day and then work 15 hours straight, so you might actually break a profit. Or what I've seen some people do is if they're dating, they just do it with their girlfriend or boyfriend. They listen to music the whole time and chat, so it's kind of passive income while they're just spending time together. Oh, also, you get so lost in some of these places, you have no idea where someone's door is or what the gate code is. All this bullshit you have to deal with is super frustrating. But I've seen some people I know make some decent money from it, but I don't think it's a sustainable full-time job at all. Moving on, we've got theme parks and resort work. I can't imagine standing in 100-degree Florida or California heat in a Mickey Mouse costume with little kids that kick me because they want to hear me make funny sounds. That might be worse than the Amazon one. Honestly, maybe you feel good because you're making these kids happy, but after a while, you're gonna grow, you're gonna hate children. You're gonna be like a reverse pedophile. I don't even have much to say about this. If you have to stand there, I know they have shifts and stuff, but bro, it's you're not building any skills. You're not socializing with people. It just seems fucked. This just seems miserable. I'm thinking about this. This sucks.
Phobia. Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
You ever wake up at 2 p.m., check your phone, and realize that you have nowhere to be? Yeah, being unemployed is one big vacation, except you're broke, depressed, and constantly reminded that you should be doing something with your life. Don't get me wrong, the idea of unemployment sounds kind of fire. No schedule, no annoying coworkers, no dealing with your manager who looks like he smells like canned tuna. But then reality hits you, and it's, no job equals no money equals no fun equals you spiraling into existential dread at 4 a.m. watching videos on YouTube about ancient civilizations and wondering if you should start a dropshipping business. Okay, let's get into the struggles of unemployment. First of all, we have, the obvious solution, which is just get a job. Easy, right? No, because every job application is designed to make you feel worthless. We'll have things on Indeed like a listing that says we're looking for an entry-level candidate with 7 years of experience. Oh, my bad. Let me time travel back to the womb and start my LinkedIn profile. You must be proficient in Microsoft Excel. Bro, I know how to highlight a cell. That's all you need to know. Must be willing to work in a fast-paced environment. That's corporate speak for you will be miserable and overworked. And the worst part is you can submit 100 applications and then get ghosted like a bad Tinder date. No response, no rejection, just silence. At this point, I'd rather they email me back just to say, lol, nah. At least that's closure. With how hard it is to find a job right now and how competitive the job market is, I can't even blame anyone who's struggling or who's unemployed. The moment I realized how bad things actually are is when I opened Twitter and I saw a post from some guy screenshotting an email he'd received from McDonald's saying something like, hey, we appreciate your application. However, at this time, we're going to proceed with other candidates. Best of luck from the fucking Mick crew. I knew it was over. If you can't even put the fries in the bag, it's over. You have to just sit at home and play Elden Ring all day and hope mommy and daddy take care of things for a bit. If you're unemployed, every day kind of blends together. You're kind of stuck in the side quest with no main story. You wake up at an inappropriate time, like 1 p.m. You feel ashamed of yourself. You debate going to the gym, but instead you just scroll on your phone for 2 hours, and you consider being productive, but you somehow end up on Instagram scrolling again. You make a meal out of struggle food like pizza bagels in the air fryer because grocery shopping costs more than rent. And the best part is every time you walk outside, you feel judged. You sense that other people are picking up on your unemployedness. And you'd be right. Everyone can tell. You walk into a store at noon on a weekday for Pokemon cards. Yeah, everyone knows you're unemployed. Your parents see you chilling at home. Boom, they hit you with the, hey, so any job updates? Or the biggest giveaways if you're posting on social media on Snapchat saying something like, just grinding, staying focused. Yeah, that means you're on day 63 of no job offers. At some point during your unemployed arc, you will tell yourself, maybe I should just become my own boss. Like, okay, yeah, let me just start my own business with $4.72 in my checking account. Usually this pipe dream looks something like, yeah, I should start my own podcast. Yeah, bro, nobody's trying to hear you and your homie talk about nothing for 2 hours. Drop that immediately. It's not working. Second one is along the lines of becoming a Twitch streamer, but then you stream for 6 hours, get one viewer, and it's your own alt account. So that's not going to work. And I'm not trying to kill your dreams with this. You know, give it a shot. You might be the next ninja, but realistically, you won't ever be the next ninja. And, you know, maybe the third one is investing in crypto. Oftentimes you tried that already and you lost your entire paycheck on some random coin on pump.fund. So, you know, don't try that again. But hey, you know, at least pretending to have a side hustle is better than admitting defeat. You ever notice it's the unemployed people that are always working on something big, but they can't explain what it is? To be fair, there are definitely a lot of profitable side hustles that you can maintain while you're still trying to find a job. At some point, I might do a tier list for the most profitable side hustles, but I think I'll just tell you the best one right now. Normally, I wouldn't leak the sauce, but I don't see that many people doing this, so why not? Also, you guys deserve a reward for being loyal subscribers. You're going to be a middleman that connects editors with YouTubers. So basically, you're just going to find a bunch of editors who need to do work and a bunch of YouTubers who need editing. Find 10 to 20 editors on Twitter who are looking for work, ask them to send you their portfolios, and then just spam look for YouTubers who need editors and just send them your client's portfolio. And then you take a small finder's fee. If you have no job and no money and like an hour to spare, I'd try this. You could probably make anywhere from 10 to $100. But the majority of the time, if you're spending more time trying to craft a side hustle than looking for a job, you're wasting your time. One thing nobody tells you about being unemployed is it's definitely a mental game. You'll start questioning everything like, am I lazy or is the job market just trash? What if I'm not good enough to ever get hired? Should I have just majored in something else? And then the worst part is like, you even when you're doing nothing, you can't relax because you feel guilty about doing nothing. Like you'll be watching Netflix and in the back of your mind, you're like, I should be applying for jobs right now. You'll have this demon on the side of your shoulder that's constantly telling you to look for jobs and never have fun. Don't sleep until you're employed. It's all about balance. Do not become a lazy slob that wakes up at 5 p.m. just to go to sleep at 5 a.m. and just play video games all day. That's not something that you should be doing. You should obviously pursue some sort of a route where you're looking for work or money. But at the same time, do not be that person who is unable to do anything besides looking for a job when they're unemployed. You can take some time off, ground yourself, use it to maybe develop a hobby or something like that. But if you are unemployed for long enough, you will hit the final stage of unemployment, which is acceptance. You start telling yourself, maybe this is just my life now. Maybe I'm meant to be the main character of the Broke Boy Chronicles. Until one day your bank account hits negative and suddenly that job at McDonald's is looking like the perfect career move. You start romanticizing minimum wage jobs like they're the plot of a quirky indie film. The truth is, being unemployed is not just about not having a job. It's just about being stuck in life. You feel stuck. You're feeling like you've fallen into a limbo while the rest of the world is moving around you. And it can be totally suffocating. It can make you feel depressed, can make you feel worthless, and it's not a good feeling. I think that's the main issue with unemployment. I mean, the money obviously is a problem. Not having that income sucks, but I think it's more so about the way that it makes you feel, unless, of course, you're homeless. Let's talk about spending money while unemployed. Every dollar you spend feels like a personal betrayal. You're out here debating if you should buy a $3 coffee. Like, you know, do I really need caffeine? Maybe I'll just drink tap water and hope for the best. Meanwhile, your friends with jobs are like, bro, just treat yourself. I can't treat myself. I'm treating my wallet like it's on life support. And don't get me started on splitting the bill at a group dinner. You're like, I only got fries and a water, so I'm not paying for your $40 steak. You do sound frugal. I mean, it's fair, but you sound frugal. And you are frugal. You're broke.
Nigga, your auntie broke, your grandma broke, your brother broke, nigga, you broke!
By far, the ultimate trap of unemployment is procrastination. You'll tell yourself, I'll apply to jobs tomorrow, then tomorrow comes and you're like, actually, I need to mentally prepare. I'll do it the day after tomorrow. And before you know it, a month has passed and you've applied to 0 jobs. But hey, at least you've watched every season of a Netflix show that nobody cares about. And you're broke. If you're not applying to jobs for a given period of time, make sure that's time that you've designated to not applying to jobs. Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna apply tomorrow, and then you just don't. Be honest with yourself. If you know you're not going to apply tomorrow, just say, hey, I'm not going to apply tomorrow, and use that day to do something productive. Also, why is it that when you're unemployed, literally everybody else starts winning? Your cousin just got promoted, your high school classmate is starting a business, and your ex, oh, they're thriving, got a new car, new partner, and somehow a dog with better career prospects than you. It's cooked, man.
Phobia. Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
Today we're back talking about more jobs that are awful to work. The first video I did on this topic kind of blew up, and the comment section turned into a group therapy session with everybody trauma dumping about the worst jobs they've worked or just horrible workplace experiences. So let's just jump back in and talk about more awful jobs that people have to work. And if you work any of these jobs, please do not be offended. If anything, take it as a compliment. A lot of these are necessary jobs, but they're kind of misery-inducing for a lot of people. If you happen to be new here, please consider subscribing. My goal is 200,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I think we can do it. Let's start off by talking about certified nursing assistants, or CNA for short. So a CNA in a nursing home is responsible for almost every aspect of a resident's daily care. They wake them up, get them dressed, transfer them in and out of bed. They help them use the bathroom, changing their diapers, bathing them, and cleaning up after their accidents. They also have to respond immediately whenever someone falls over. A lot of nursing homes assign one singular CNA to care for an entire section or hallway of residents during a shift. Each resident requires assistance throughout the day, and those needs often happen at the same time. So while one resident is being transferred or cleaned, another one might be waiting to use the bathroom, another one might be needing to be fed. It's kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's. You have to constantly be checking and responding to different cues and shit from your residents. This work is also incredibly mentally and emotionally demanding. The kind of people you're looking after are usually at the near end of their life. They have, advanced dementia, or they're in severe physical pain. I would also argue there's not much emotional upside at all. A lot of these old people can be really angry and frustrated, and you're the one getting yelled at and treated like shit. If there's some old guy who's cranky and he wants milk, you're gonna be the one who gets yelled at for it. Even if you're out of milk, there's a good chance he doesn't understand that and just keeps screaming at you for it. But on the other hand, if you have a good group of people you're working with, you know that they're dying and that they're not gonna be alive for much longer. So you end up watching people who you've cared for every single day decline until eventually they pass away. So whether you keep your distance or get attached, there's a difficult side to it. Apart from the emotional, I would say the physical and mental drain of this job cannot be understated as well. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You're dealing with bodily fluids on the regular. Also, it's not like you're getting paid doctor money for a job in the medical field. I don't know. I would assume the people who are doing this aren't doing it for the money, but rather out of compassion, which is totally respectable. But most people work a job to feed their family and keep the lights on. So yeah, I wouldn't go into this field if you're looking for a fat payday. You can do much less and earn more. Moving on, we've got the hotel housekeeper. This is one of those jobs where the entire business model depends on the guest never once thinking about the human being who fixed the room they trashed. Housekeepers get a strict number of rooms per shift and a hard time limit on each one. You open every room door not knowing what you're about to see, but having the same amount of time to spend on each room. You could walk into a room and it looks like a small crime happened in there with stained sheets and food left out for days, and you've got maybe 20 minutes to fix all of it. You've got to remake the bed and restock everything and then move straight to the next room, rinse and repeat. You also got to deal with the dumbass guests that will demolish a room and then still leave a complaint because housekeeping knocked at 9 a.m. instead of 10. The disconnect there is diabolical. You created the fucking mess and your complaint is the timing of someone coming in to clean it up. It is non-stop bending over backwards and lifting shit, also pushing around a cart all day long. I respect this, but this is one of those grindy type jobs. It's so repetitive and mind-numbing. I don't know. If I were to do this, I would have to have a podcast playing in my ears. Wait, what if there's someone watching this video while cleaning some shit? That'd be crazy. Nah, actually, that's not that crazy. What would really be crazy is if there's a nursing home CNA who just got done wiping an old dude's ass, who's got this in their ears. All right, next up is restaurant server. This one's probably the least bad on the list and definitely doesn't compare to the ones from from the previous video, but there's a lot of downsides to being a restaurant server that don't get talked about enough. I've had close friends that work in the food service industry, so this section is a bit more personal, and I need everyone in the comments who's ever stiffed a server to sit with that for a second. Your entire income depends on a stranger deciding whether you deserve to get paid fairly, and that's if the math even works out. You can give a table genuinely perfect service, but still walk away with nothing because the kitchen brought the food out cold, or the guy at table 9 just didn't feel like tipping tonight. This is also one of those jobs where looks play a major role into how you're treated. There's pretty solid evidence that physical attractiveness affects earnings in restaurants, especially for tipped employees. A Cornell University study found that attractive female servers earn significantly larger tips than less attractive female servers. Better service quality also mattered, but attractiveness remained an independent predictor. The attractiveness effect was also strongest during dinner shifts when tips tended to be larger. A meta-analysis of tipping research reviewing dozens of studies concluded that tip size is influenced by server attractiveness, server friendliness, social norms, and customer mood. But if you want some raw numbers, attractive servers earned a little bit less than $1,300 more per year in tips than less attractive servers, and attractive servers received about a 1.37 percentage point higher tip on average. This trend affected women more, but is also shown with men. You also just have to be a blame sponge for everything that's out of your control. Like, if there's slow food, that's on the kitchen. If there's an item out of stock, that's corporate. If they're the menu prices that people have an issue with, that's also not you. None of it matters. Like, you're the face standing there, so you have to absorb all of it while juggling 4 other tables and staying pleasant the entire time while someone snaps their finger at you like you're some golden retriever dog that is just being told to sit. You can definitely make great money at this job depending on the area and the kind of people you're serving. Like, if you're an upscale restaurant, you know you're getting some big tips, and that's a multiplier effect as well if you're attractive and if the service is also really good. So it's also a great starter job for young people who are just trying to get some experience for their resume. But there's also a lot of nightmare stories from this sort of work, and the pay can vary quite a bit, so yeah, there's definitely better out there. Alright, next up we've got moving company worker. I did not clock how physically brutal this job is until I actually looked into it. Whoever wants to take the worst and most stressful period in someone's life and turn it into a repeated task and call it a job is fucking insane. You're carrying refrigerators, couches, mattresses, all up very narrow staircases in buildings that clearly did not consult a mover before being built. And customers consistently underestimate how much stuff they actually own. So you show up expecting a normal job, and then you walk into a home where nothing is packed, there's clothes everywhere, you got a bunch of dishes that are just loose in the cabinet, and now that is your problem to solve on the spot with the clock running. You gotta move fast without so much as scuffing a wall or a door frame, and if one thing gets scratched, the customer acts like you fucking ended their bloodline. This is the kind of job that compounds over years. Your back, knees, and shoulders are taking hits from carrying weight that was never designed to go up a staircase on one person's back like that. The turnaround time for these jobs are like 2 months. Nobody does it longer than that. Moving on to one of the jobs that almost never gets mentioned is being a 911 dispatcher. Most people think of firefighters or police officers when they think about emergency service, but this is the very first person someone talks to in a life or death situation. They're the one answering the phone because someone just got shot, when a parent calls because their baby isn't breathing, when someone is trapped in a house fire, or when a person finds a family member dead. From the moment they pick up the phone, they're expected to stay completely calm no matter what they're hearing. The difficult part about this job is that panic is very contagious, but dispatchers aren't allowed to panic with the caller. When someone is screaming, crying, or completely falling apart, they have to slow the conversation down, figure out exactly what's happening, and get the right information to first responders. They also sometimes have to walk people through things like CPR or other emergency instructions before help even arrives. Every second matters, and one mistake or misdetail can have serious consequences. The mental toll of this job is enormous. Unlike first responders who eventually arrive at the scene, dispatchers often never find out how the story ends. They can spend an entire shift listening to people experience the worst moments or final moments of their lives, hang up the phone, and then immediately answer another emergency call a few seconds later. There is no time to process what they just heard because the next person on the line needs them just as badly. After years of listening to traumatic situations day after day, it is not uncommon for dispatchers to struggle with chronic stress, anxiety, burnout, or even symptoms of PTSD. It's one of those jobs where even if you do everything perfectly, most people will never even think about you. But without skilled dispatchers keeping their composure when everyone else is losing theirs, repairs, emergency services would simply not function. Anyways, that's it for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. You can also listen to these videos over on Spotify as well. I'd appreciate a follow and a 5-star rating over there. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.
Phobia?
Yeah.
Manual labor, you know that.
You did it. You graduated. You survived 4 years of awkward class presentations, school lunches that probably violated the Geneva Convention, and your Discord group chat did not get leaked. But now you're out. You're free. And suddenly that question hits like a truck. So what's next? Some people sprint toward college like it's the finish line. Others clock into a job 2 days later like, yep, this is life now. And then there's the rest of us just sitting in our rooms like, should I start a podcast or a pyramid scheme? Let's talk about it. The types of people after high school and how weird this phase of life actually is. Starting off, we have the college dreamer. These are kids that always knew they were going to college. They had a dream school, a major, a life plan, a backup plan, and a backup for their backup. They got their dorm set up off Pinterest, joined a Discord server for their class before orientation, and had their roommate's name memorized before they even graduated high school. Fast forward a few weeks and it's like, yeah, I'm 14 grand in debt, I hate my major, and my roommate's been coughing since the second week of school. College is cool if you know what you're doing, but most people don't. Most people just go because they're told to by parents, teachers, guidance counselors, and the ghost of the American dream, and now you're paying 40 grand a year just to cry in a communal bathroom. Fun times. But then there's the people who skip college and go straight into the workforce. They start working warehouse jobs, retail, construction, whatever gets the bills paid. They're making money, stacking checks, and eating out every night because they still live at home and only have 3 bills. At first it sounds smart. You're making money right away, no student loans hanging over your head, and your weekends are free if you're lucky. You start thinking, hey, this might actually be a better path. But then the reality sets in. The hours are long, the pay isn't as life-changing as you thought, you're constantly tired physically and mentally, you go home drained, you wake up drained, and every day starts blurring together. You're surrounded by people twice your age who have been there since before you were even born, and they'll say things like, it's not great, but it's a job, or at least it's stable. They're not chasing anything, they're just surviving, and then that's when it hits you. This isn't a launch pad, this is where people stay, because they don't have time, energy, or options left to go anywhere else. It becomes routine. Wake up, commute, work, home, sleep. Do that for the rest of your life, with maybe 2 weeks off per year if your boss approves the PTO. And for a lot of people, the scariest part isn't even the job itself. It's the idea that you could blink and suddenly be like 40, still there, still stuck, wondering what your life could have been if you'd done something else. Then there's that person, the one who said, I'm taking a gap year. Not because they couldn't go to college, not because they had a plan, but because they needed to find themselves, to travel, to breathe, to experience the world. You ask them where they're going and they'll hit you with, I'm thinking Europe or maybe Southeast Asia, you know, go off the grid for a bit. 6 months later, they haven't gone further than the local Taco Bell. They wake up at 2 p.m., scroll TikTok for 3 hours, and then tweet something deep like healing isn't linear. Their idea of working on themselves is watching 3-hour video essays on YouTube about movies they've never seen. They downloaded Duolingo to learn French but stopped after bonjour. They keep saying they're gonna start a clothing brand, and they did design one hoodie in Canva that they haven't posted because they're waiting for the right vibe. And listen, there's no shame in taking a break. Sometimes that time off is necessary, especially if school has burnt you out. But the problem is this break becomes your whole life. You know, 1 month becomes 3, 3 becomes 6, and before you know it, they've built a full routine around doing absolutely nothing. Wake up late, stare at a wall, play some Valorant, hit up their local gas station for dinner, and repeat. But they'll keep saying, trust me bro, I got plans. And when you ask what those plans are, it's always vague. Big things coming, I'm in a building phase right now. No, you're not. You're in pajamas at 4 p.m. They'll talk about launching something like they're Elon Musk, but the closest thing they've launched is a DoorDash order. They keep referencing the economy like it's the reason they haven't made a move yet. Like, I mean, with inflation the way it is right now, bro, you don't even pay for gas. What are you talking about? And look, we've all been there to some extent, you know, the weird limbo phase. You're technically free. You don't owe anyone anything. You're just kind of floating. And for a while, that can feel amazing. You're not answering to teachers. You're not stuck in a classroom. You're not dealing with exams or deadlines. But if you're not careful, that float becomes a free fall. You stop making decisions. You stop trying, and you convince yourself that you're waiting for the right moment when really you're just scared to start. Gap years are fine. Resting is fine. Vibing is fine. But if your gap year turns into a gap decade and your life plan still revolves around a clothing brand that does not exist yet, maybe it's time to clock back in. Next up, we have the friend who straight up disappears after high school. High school ends and this person vanishes like it's a Marvel post-credit scene. 1 minute they were at every hangout, every group chat, every chaotic late night Discord call, then poof, they're gone. They stop replying, they leave the Snap group chat without saying a word. They're not mad, they're not beefing, they just dipped. At first you're like, maybe they're busy, but then weeks turn into months, birthdays go by, inside jokes get get forgotten. And the next time you think of them is because Instagram reminded you with one of those weird people you may know stories where they're standing in front of a Jeep with a quote like, "Only forward from here." Then one day out of nowhere, you run into them. Target, gas station, Taco Bell, doesn't matter. And it's the weirdest interaction of your life. "Oh my God, how have you been?" "Good, I'm just working a lot, grinding." "Yeah, grinding what?" No one knows. You're half expecting them to tell you they're a freelance monk or something. And the thing is, they're not weird or rude or distant when you see them again. They're chill, they're polite. It's like catching up with a coworker you forgot you used to be best friends with. You part ways with some, awkward "let's hang soon" energy, knowing damn well it's never happening. And it's not a bad thing really, it's just what happens. People drift, they move towns, they get new jobs, new circles, new priorities. But it still hits you sideways when someone who was in your life every single day just becomes a memory. You start realizing how many friendships were based on proximity, not purpose. Y'all weren't soulmates, y'all just sat next to each other in biology for 4 years. And it's weird because when it happens, you think you did something wrong. Like, did I say something? Did I forget to reply to something important? No, they're just on a different path now, and that's okay. It still stings, but it's okay. Eventually, you'll be that person to someone else too. You'll vanish from their life, pop up months later. "Yo, it's been a minute," DM with no explanation. And that's just how life moves after high school, Friendships stop being automatic. You actually have to put effort in, and if neither of you do, that bond just fades. Not out of malice or hatred, just out of life. Sorry, I'll try to keep it lighthearted, not to get too existential with you guys. Alright, next up we got the bum. There's the gap year person, and then there's their final form, the bum. Because the gap year person pretends that there's a plan. The bum? They're not even pretending anymore. They're in a deep void, no goals, no job, no plan, just vibes, vape clouds, and a mattress on the floor. Their sleep schedule doesn't exist. They just collapse at random. They've watched 18 seasons of Grey's Anatomy this month alone. Every day is just a blur of TikToks, microwave burritos, and "nah, I'll do it tomorrow." You ask them what they're up to, and they'll go, "Just chilling lately, trying to figure stuff out." "Bro, it's been a year. What are you trying to figure out? Shapes?" They'll randomly bring up business ideas that sound like fever dreams, like, "I might start a CBD candle line. I've been looking into vending machines and passive income, You look over and they're watching a 6-hour YouTube documentary on crypto by a guy named Finance Daddy. They haven't applied to a single job, not because they're unqualified, but because they haven't updated their resume since 10th grade when they worked at Chuck E. Cheese for 2 weeks. And here's the thing, it didn't start this way. Most of the time, the bum used to be the gap year person. They took a break to chill and then just never got back up. It's like when your computer goes into sleep mode but never wakes back up, that's them. It's being stuck in a permanent loading screen. And that's kind of the post-high school lineup. There's definitely some people I haven't covered, so 10,000 likes for a part 2. Whether you're in college pretending to take notes on a Zoom class or working 10-hour shifts debating if a Costco membership counts as an investment, you're not alone. None of us know what we're doing, and the ones that do, they're probably faking it better than the rest of us. Everyone moves at their own pace. Some people jump ahead and crash. Some fall behind and catch up later. Some disappear and come back with a beard and a business. But no matter where you're at, just don't get stuck. Don't let temporary become forever. Don't let comfort become your cage. And definitely don't convince yourself that burnout means you're just mature. That's not maturity. That's just poor hygiene and caffeine addiction. So take your time, take a nap, take a risk, but whatever you do, don't take advice from that one guy selling a $97 course on how to escape the Matrix.
Phobia? Yeah. Manual labor, you know that.
Alright, so getting your driver's license is supposed to be like this big milestone in life, right? Freedom, independence, all that stuff. But in reality, it's one of the most stressful and embarrassing processes you'll ever go through. Like, the government basically hands you a car and says, "Good luck, try not to kill anyone." And the way people hype it up makes it worse. Everyone's like, once you get your license, you can go anywhere you want. Bro, no I can't. I still live with my parents. I got like $3 in my bank account, and gas is $5 a gallon. The only place I'm driving is straight back home. Not to mention, the whole process is designed to humble you. Like, you'll walk into the DMV thinking you're ready for adulthood, and the second you step up to that counter, some 60-year-old lady with glasses down her nose just looks at you like, "You're not built for this." And she's right, because 5 minutes later, you're out there stalling your car in front of a line of 30 people who all hate you now. So let's talk about what actually happens when you try to get your license. First off, you gotta get your learner's permit, which is basically the government saying, here's a piece of paper that lets you legally traumatize your parents in the passenger seat. Every drive turns into a hostage situation. Your mom's clutching the door handle like you're driving a fighter jet. Your dad's yelling, "Brake earlier," every 5 seconds, and God forbid you miss a stop sign, suddenly you're the worst driver alive. And the crazy part is, your parents forget they drive like maniacs too. Like, they'll be yelling at you for not using your blinker, but last week you watched them cut across 3 lanes like they were in the new Fast and Furious movie. Plus, having a permit makes you a second-class citizen. You can't even drive alone. You need some random adult next to you at all times. Like, bro, if I'm old enough to control a 2-ton death machine on the freeway, why do I still need my mom sitting there with a Diet Coke acting like she's my parole officer? Then there's driving school, where some random 40-year-old dude who looks like he's given up on life teaches you how to parallel park. The car always smells weird, like a mix of old coffee and regret, and they make you do the dumbest stuff, like a 3-point turn. Like, bro, I'm not driving a forklift, I just want to get to Taco Bell.
First time trying the new cheesy crunch wrap. Let's see how it tastes.
And these instructors always have that dead behind the eyes look, like they've watched thousands of teenagers almost plow into a mailbox and now nothing excites them anymore. You could literally crash into a fire hydrant and they just write it down, like, yep, -5 points, don't do that again. They also purposely take you on the worst possible roads. Like, bro, I live in the suburbs, why are you making me merge onto the freeway in the middle of rush hour? I just learned where the headlights are, I'm not ready to battle semis going 80. And for some reason, they love parking drills. Parallel park between these two cones back into this imaginary spot. Like, when am I ever going to use this? Nobody in history has ever said, oh, sorry guys, I can't come out tonight. I really failed my 3-point turn. Plus, the silence is brutal. You're in a car with this stranger and the whole time you're trying to impress him like it's a date you didn't agree to. You flick the blinker on 2 streets early and so he notices, like, see, I'm responsible. Meanwhile, he's staring out the window, sighing, writing hieroglyphics on his clipboard, 0 validation. Now comes the actual road test. Easily the most stressful 15 minutes of your life. You've been practicing for months, but the second that instructor sits in the passenger seat, your brain forgets how cars even work. Like, I'll be gripping the wheel so hard, you think I'm landing a plane. And the instructors never help either. They just sit there in complete silence, scribbling on their little clipboard like they're writing your obituary. You could literally save a baby duck crossing the road, and they'd still be like, you didn't check your mirrors enough. Automatic fail. The worst part is they never tell you how you're doing during the test. Like, you're just sweating bullets, thinking, okay, I nailed that stop sign, right? That was clean. Meanwhile, the guy's just clicking his pen like he's deciding if you deserve human rights. And parallel parking, that's the final boss. You could drive perfectly the entire test, but if you so much as touch the curb, they act like you just committed a felony. Like, bro, half the adults out here park like absolute garbage. Why is this a standard? And if you fail, oh, that's the walk of shame. Nothing hurts more than walking out of the DMV while some 16-year-old behind you is celebrating like they just won the Super Bowl. You gotta call your parents like, yeah, so we're gonna be Ubering for a few more weeks. And the retest, way worse, because now the instructor already knows you're trash. They sit down like, oh, it's you again. And suddenly every tiny mistake is magnified. Forgot your blinker? Fail. Rolled half an inch over the line? Fail. Blinked too aggressively? Fail. It really feels like a driving test is more like some government-sanctioned hazing ritual. Like, congrats, you survived high school. Now let's see if you can survive me quietly judging you for 15 minutes straight. And if you do pass, congrats. Now you get to join the most chaotic experience of all, driving with your friends. Because the second you pick them up, they act like your car is a party bus. Someone's fighting for the aux, somebody else is hanging halfway through the window, and there's always that one friend in the back spilling Taco Bell all over your seats like it's their own personal trash can. Suddenly you're not the cool guy with the car, you're the unpaid Uber driver. Every text is just, bro, can you pick me up? We need a ride. Like, damn, I didn't get this license so I could chauffeur half the school. I just wanted to get a McFlurry without adult supervision. Then comes the gas money argument. Every group has that one guy who never pays. You could drive them across the entire state, drop them off at their front door, and they'll hit you with, bro, I'll get you next time. Spoiler, there is no next time. This man hasn't seen a gas pump in his life. And the thing about being first in your group with the license is suddenly you're everybody's servant. Like, you're not their friend anymore, you're their taxi. Midnight trips to Taco Bell, guess you're driving. Someone's crush lives 20 minutes away, you're driving. Someone wants to just cruise, guess what? You're driving. Meanwhile, your tank's on empty and you're praying your parents don't notice you burn through half a paycheck in gas money. And late night drives are their own horror movie. Everyone's laughing, music's blasting, but the second you get pulled over, all your so-called friends just turn into lawyers in the backseat whispering advice. Bro, don't admit anything. Just tell him you're speeding because your grandma's sick. Like, shut up, man. You're the reason I missed the stop sign in the first place. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Once the hype dies down, you realize that driving kind of sucks. Like, yeah, you've got the freedom, but now you also are stuck dealing with the absolute worst people on the road. You've got the guy who thinks turn signals are optional, the lady going 20 in the fast lane, and of course, the dude in the lifted truck who takes it personally if you merge in front of him. And don't even get me started on traffic. Like, nothing humbles you faster than sitting bumper to bumper for 40 minutes to go 3 miles. You're sitting there like, wow, I really begged the DMV for this privilege. Parking lots are war zones. It doesn't matter if it's Walmart, Costco, or some random strip mall. People will straight up cut across 10 spaces diagonally just to beat you by 5 seconds. And there's always that one psychopath who backs into every spot like they're rehearsing for NASCAR pit crew tryouts. Once you get sick of borrowing your parents' minivan, reality hits. You gotta buy your own car, which sounds awesome until you realize every option is either insanely expensive or complete garbage. Like, it's either a brand new car that costs more than your entire net worth, or a 2003 Honda Civic with 280 180,000 miles and a quirky rattling noise that definitely means the engine's about to explode. And the sellers always act like it's a hidden gem, like, oh yeah, it runs great, just don't roll down the windows or touch the AC, and make sure you keep a jug of coolant in the trunk at all times. Bro, that is not a car, that's a time bomb on wheels. Insurance? Forget about it. The government basically looks at you, a 17-year-old, and says, yeah, you're definitely crashing within the first 6 months.
Oh, is this a turn right here? Shoot, crap. Everyone hang on, I'm sorry, I love you. I love you so much, I'm so sorry.
They charge you like $400 a month for the privilege of driving a car that barely starts. And when you do finally buy one, it's not freedom. It's another money pit. Oil changes, tires, random lights popping up on the dashboard. It's like you're playing whack-a-mole. You think you're buying an independence, but in reality, you're just signing up for permanent debt. So yeah, getting your license is hyped up like it's the key to freedom, but it's really just the start of a whole new headache. First, you traumatize your parents, then some guy in a polo shirt makes you parallel park, then you get judged by a DMV executioner with a clipboard, and eventually you go broke from gas, insurance, and your friends mooching rides. So yeah, getting your license is just your first subscription plan to adulthood, and trust me, there's no cancel button.
Phobia? Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
There is a plague spreading right now. Not a sickness, a corporate personality disorder. Every brand woke up one day and decided, hey, what if we try to act like teenagers online? And it's so painful to witness. You'll be scrolling and you'll see something like Wendy's. Yas queen, get that frosty, slay. Bro, you sell square hamburgers. Stay in your lane. These brands go from professional to just learn what TikTok is in 5 minutes flat. And we need to talk about how bad it's getting. Hot Pockets tweets, you think your life is hard? Try being stuffed with meat 24/7. No. Genuinely, what possesses somebody to make this tweet? Like your Hot Pockets, right? You should be sitting on a freezer shelf in a CVS waiting for some stoner to pick you out because he's hungry. The fuck am I supposed to do with this tweet? Like, buy Hot Pockets now? Is this supposed to make me want to purchase them? I pray that social media manager got fired fucking immediately. But knowing how all publicity is good publicity, he probably got promoted. Hot Pockets is a snack, not an adult entertainer. Why is the microwave food talking like it's about to call me stepbro? On the topic of junk food brands trying to be relatable, we need to talk about Wendy's, because at this point, they aren't even a restaurant. They're a professional roast battler that occasionally sells burgers on the side. Wendy's went on Twitter one day and decided their entire marketing strategy was going to be verbally assault everyone and hope it translates to sales. And honestly, it weirdly worked. They'll roast a random teenager's entire existence if it means getting 3 extra likes. Bro asked, what do you recommend? And Wendy's responded with a better outfit. Like, damn, I just wanted food. Why am I leaving the drive-thru with emotional damage? The craziest part is people ask for it. Like, hey, Wendy's, roast me. And Wendy's will absolutely annihilate them while the victim replies, oh my god, thank you. We're cheering for a corporation bullying us while they're charging $6.99 for a Frosty sometime. It's insane. And every other brand tried copying them, but it never hits right. When Wendy's does it, it's savage. When Burger King tries it, it's like watching your weird uncle try stand-up for the first time. McDonald's roasting someone would just feel like a wellness check. Like, sir, you're holding a McDouble. You can't be talking trash right now. Wendy's isn't even like trying to pretend to be relatable. I'm just throwing them in here. They're pretending to be a toxic friend. The one who goes, you're such a failure, but then asks if you want to hang out tomorrow. And we let them. We treat Wendy's like some kind of internet celebrity, when at the end of the day, they're handing you a bag of grease that's going to make you rethink your life at 3 a.m. No fast food brand should ever be allowed to speak like they're better than us. They're all selling the same thing, a meal and a mistake. And that's the thing that makes all of this even more ridiculous. These are brands. They're not people. They don't have feelings. They don't care about slang or memes being relatable. They want one thing, your money. Every tweet, every TikTok, every attempt to say slay or it's giving is just a $10 billion corporation trying to convince you they're your best friend, so you buy either like tires or sandwiches or light bulbs or insurance. Like, you're not my homie, you're a logo. You are literally a building that either fries chicken or sells something. Stop trauma bonding with me. It's always like, hey gang, don't forget to say hydrated today. Buy our energy drink. Like, that's emotional manipulation, but it sounds cool. Companies figured out that instead of being professional, they can just act like chaotic 19-year-olds on social media, and people will eat that shit up. Because if a brand tweets like a human, we forget that it's a company that would replace us with robots tomorrow if it saved them 11 fucking cents. Brands are like, we're just like you. No, you're not. You're
Duolingo threatening people to learn Spanish. You're a billion-dollar machine pretending to say bestie while actively trying to take my wallet out of my pocket. If a stranger walked up and said, "Hey queen, slay the day, wanna buy deodorant?" you would call the police. But online, we're like, yes, marketing king.
You've got time, you've got your phone, so why not make some money? Free Cash is the easiest way to earn real cash online. You try out apps, play games, or take quick surveys, and they pay you. The average user cashes out in just 17 minutes, and over $50 million has already been paid out. You can cash out instantly with gift cards, PayPal, crypto, and a ton of other options. No waiting, no points, just real money. It's free to sign up, super easy to use, and you can start earning today. Guys, don't let summer leave you broke. Hit the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code on screen and start now. Big thanks to Free Cash for sponsoring this video.
Yeah, maybe companies should stop trying to be relatable, because the second a brand uses slang, it immediately stops being cool. If a corporation knows the trend exists, it's already dead. Let the memes live and die in peace without being turned into commercials for frozen waffles. And most of the time, this weird corporate behavior stays in the comments. That's their safe zone. Brands wait under a celebrity post like little gremlins, hoping someone notices them. They'll reply like slay under a photo and call it a day, but some companies get a little too confident and go, you know what, we should make TikToks. And that's when things fully go off the rails, because nothing is more uncomfortable than a corporation trying to participate in TikTok trends. You'll see a brand mascot doing a thirst trap. Like, hey guys, don't forget our 2-for-1 combo. Meanwhile, there's a 47-year-old adult male social media manager behind the camera begging for this trend to get them a promotion. They see one Gen Z joke do well, and suddenly the brand account is duetting every viral sound. Like they're aiming for like partner status. It's also so obvious when a company has a meeting like, what's trending with the kids? Fortnite? Skibbity toilet? Let's make a collab with our yogurt. Like, no one asked. No one asked for the yogurt. The yogurt didn't need a lore. TikTok is already chaotic enough without the dollar store mascot entering the battlefield. And I feel like corporate TikToks are always like 6 months late. Like a trend will be gasping on life support, and that's when the cereal brand finally uploads their version. Like, look guys, we did the thing. Okay, cool, grandpa. Sit down before you hurt yourself. If your ad has a meme in it, I promise that meme died the second your CEO approved the budget. You also notice how these brands are never the ones who create the memes. They always steal it. They lurk like raccoons waiting for someone else to be funny so they can repost it with their logo slapped on it. Like a meme will be going viral for 3 weeks straight, and then everyone's done laughing, and suddenly Doritos has entered the chat. Brands think they're participating, but the entire internet is like, stop, you're embarrassing yourself. The only time companies do generate memes is when we make fun of them. Like, remember the Grubhub animated commercial? That thing was supposed to sell food, but it became a global roast session instead. These characters looked like they were designed by a sleep-deprived intern being held at gunpoint. Every frame screamed, please shut this off. And Burger King, they dropped the have it your way jingle hoping that it would unite America, but instead people are just like suffering through it, not singing along to it, and the joke is that it sucks. Jingle feels like it was engineered in a lab to get stuck in your skull and ruin your entire day. And then there's the whole celebrity collab era. Every brand is like, we need a face, we need clout, who's famous right now? And they will grab anyone, even remotely trending. A makeup company will slap a YouTuber's name on lip gloss, and suddenly it's $42 more expensive for the exact same stick of chapstick. Celebrities see a paycheck and go, sure, I'll pretend this random vitamin saved my life. And influencers will hype up the dumbest products just because a PR box showed up at their door. Now, don't get me wrong, if this happened to me, I'm taking the money, but let's be honest, these brands are just cringe. I'm a real human being, and they're a corporate entity trying to use me as their puppet. But hey, if you're gonna keep my lights on, then you're damn right I'll be a puppet. Ridge Wallet or NordVPN, Raid Shadow Legends, whatever it may be, I'll take your money. Even that Sydney Sweeney ad, the Sydney Sweeney has great jeans ad, I mean, I know a lot of people got mad at that, but people who got mad at that also sort of don't even realize why they were even shown it in the first place. It's because American Eagle is a brand that is dying to appear relatable, and so they got Sydney Sweeney. It's like the same formula that Wendy's is following, just materialized in a different way.
Phobia? Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
The internet has turned buying random junk into a personality. Every other week there's a must-have product blowing up, and if you don't own it, people act like you're living in the Stone Age. TikTok makes it look like these things are magical, life-changing, revolutionary, but when you actually get one, it's always the same story. It's just a regular product with good PR. And it's never something useful. It's always cups, drinks, pillows, headphones, basic stuff we already had. But people fall for it every time because nobody nobody wants to admit they wasted money on something mid. So instead, they hype it up like it's the best thing ever just to feel better about blowing $70 on a water jug. The truth is, these products don't blow up because they're good, they blow up because they look good in a 15-second TikTok. It's not about function, it's about clout, it's consumerism dressed up as a trend, and everybody's too busy posting about it to realize they've been scammed. So today we're going through the most overhyped product the internet has ever lost its mind over, the stuff people pretend is life-changing when really it's just a waste of shelf space. Alright, let's start it off by upsetting some people. Crumble cookies. Listen, I'll be fair, crumble isn't the worst thing in the world. Some of the cookies taste alright, but the way that people hype these things up, that's what makes them unbearable. Crumble isn't even about dessert, it's about marketing. The pink box, the weekly flavor drops, the TikTok reviews, it's all designed to make you feel like you're part of an event. When you actually sit down and eat one, you realize pretty quick it's just a cookie. It's just a giant over-frosted cookie. And they're heavy. Like, you can't casually eat crumble 2 bites in and you're already tapping out. Some of them push 700 to 800 calories each. That's not a snack, that's a full meal disguised as a dessert. What usually happens is you buy a box, you try a couple flavors, you post it on your story, and then half of them end up in the fridge until they harden into hockey pucks. Crumble isn't really a food, it's more of an activity. And the fans that treat the weekly flavors like sneaker drops, you know, oh my god, Fruity Pebble cheesecake is back. Cool, but it, it still tastes like every other crumble flavor. Sugar stacked on sugar with some cereal thrown on top. So yeah, crumble isn't terrible, but it's nowhere near worth the hype. It's like dessert cosplay. Next up is matcha. Matcha went from being a traditional Japanese tea to TikTok's favorite personality trait.
Yeah, I gotta let know something, man. I'm a matcha now, man. I like this shit. It's cooler, it's smoother, it's matcha.
Every influencer is holding a $7 green latte like it's liquid enlightenment. And here's the thing, it looks cool in photographs, it looks nice, but the matcha that most people drink tastes like chalky grass. Like, let's be real, half the matcha lovers aren't in it for the flavor, they're in it for the aesthetic. It's the official drink of, I need to look productive in a coffee shop. And the way it's marketed is hilarious. People act like matcha is a miracle potion, it boosts energy, clears your skin, it adds 5 years to your life. Meanwhile, you're drinking 2 scoops of green powder whipped into milk and sugar. Like, that's not skincare. Again, that's just like diet Starbucks. It also got TikTokified into everything. Matcha cake, matcha donuts, matcha ice cream, matcha protein bars. At this point, matcha isn't even tea. It's like a flavor filter that brands slap on products to upcharge you $3. So, like I said, it's like crumble. It isn't awful, but I hate that it's just plastered everywhere and it's been made into everything that it's not, like cookies and ice cream, just let it be tea. Also, we need to stop pretending that it's some divine superfood. Most of it tastes like lawn clippings with oat milk. The thing about matcha too is it didn't just become a drink trend, it also downgraded into straight brain rot. Like, people will just say matcha out loud the same way they spam skibbity or gyat. No context, no setup, just random noise to fill space. Like, you'll see a video of someone's cat knocking over a cup and someone will just write out matcha. Like, again, like, it just means nothing. It's just the internet's new sound button. That's how you know a word has officially died, when it stops being used for its real meaning and starts getting thrown around as noise. It's cooked when matcha went from a tea to a meme to brain rot in under a year. At this point, people don't even drink it anymore. They just yell it like it's an inside joke with the entire internet. Alright, next we gotta talk about the Stanley Cup craze. So this was literally just a water bottle, but the internet turned it into a cult. People lining up outside of Target at 6 a.m. like it's the PS5 drop, all for a cup with a handle. The funniest part is, it's not even special, doesn't make the water taste better, doesn't hydrate you faster, it's just one big ol' cup. But because TikTok decided that it was aesthetic, now you've got moms brawling in the aisle over pastel colors. The resale market is even worse. People are flipping limited edition Stanleys for triple the price. Imagine explaining to someone that you just paid $200 for a thermos. Bro, you could have gone to Walmart and bought a hydro flask for $20. Same result, less embarrassment. And don't get me wrong, like, the cups are fine, they hold the water, they keep it cold, but people act like owning one is, it's like a personality thing now. I'm a Stanley girl. No, you're hydrated. At this point, the Stanley Cup is not a water bottle. It's just like a status symbol. The cup isn't even about holding water. It's about holding clout. So luckily, this one's kind of died out. It was a lot bigger in 2024, but nonetheless, it was definitely a ridiculous time. And then there's the Labubu. These creepy little goblin dolls that somehow turned into the new status symbol. They started just as collectible toys from Pop Mart, but now people treat them like designer bags. Whole adults are lining up, dropping hundreds, fighting over blind boxes to get a bug bug-eyed gremlin with fangs. The hype is insane. Celebrities started posting them and suddenly everyone's like, OMG, I need a Labubu. Need? Bro, you are 30 years old. Why are you beefing with middle schoolers over a toy that looks like it crawled out of a gas station claw machine? This also has one of the most absurd resale markets. People are flipping these things for hundreds of dollars. Some are going for thousands. Imagine paying fucking rent money for a plushie that looks like a Furby on bath salts. And the collectors act like it's culture. They'll be like, no, you don't get it. It's about the art. No, bro, you're gambling on blind boxes until you finally pull the rare one. It's not art. It's like Pokemon cards for cornballs. Labubus aren't cute. They aren't luxury. They aren't culture. They are overpriced gremlins that TikTok convince you to worship. This product might have had one of the fastest deaths I've ever seen, though. Like, the hype died so fast on these. For a month straight, they were everywhere. Blind boxes were sold out instantly. Resellers were charging crazy money for them. People were clipping them to their bags like trophies. But just as fast as it blew up, it vanished. Nobody cares anymore. You don't see the posts. You don't see the lines outside Pop Mart, and those rare ones that people spent hundreds on, they are collecting dust on the shelves. It's the same life cycle as almost every overhyped product. They skyrocket because TikTok and then crash the second the next shiny thing comes out. Labubu went from the Grail collectible to a random plushie in record time. Now let's talk about Prime.
We got Prime, boys. We got Prime. We got Prime, boys. We got Prime.
Now listen, let's be real, Prime is dead, but when it launched, it was everywhere. Kids were hoarding it, stores were selling out, people were paying scalper prices for plastic bottles of candy water. Logan Paul and KSI had half the world convinced that Prime was the second coming of Gatorade, but now, nobody cares. The shelves are full, the hype is gone, and the only people still drinking it are middle schoolers who think that the ice pop flavor makes them athletes. And honestly, it was never that good to begin with. Every flavor tasted like liquid Jolly Ranchers. You drink half a bottle and instantly feel your teeth start dissolving. It wasn't hydration, it was just influencer juice. The label might have said hydration drink, but the ingredient list said pre-diabetes in a bottle. The funniest part was the resale craze. People were paying $20 to $30 a bottle during the peak. Imagine telling your kids that you spent sneaker money on a Logan Paul Kool-Aid. This thing was a total fad, and now it's sitting in clearance aisle right next to Bang Energy.
Phobia. Yeah. Manual labor, you know that.
We are living through the laziest time in human history. Nobody knows how to cook, nobody wants to learn, and somehow we've all collectively decided that paying $37 for one sad little burrito is a normal way to live. This is the food delivery epidemic. We don't meal prep, we don't grocery shop, we just DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, and spiritually rot while waiting for a stranger to bring us cold fries. Cooking used to be normal, like basic survival. You knew how to boil rice, cut vegetables, maybe flip a pancake without setting your house on fire. Now, cooking is a personality. You tell someone, yeah, I made pasta last night, and suddenly they're like, oh my god, you cook? We've reached a point where putting food on a stove is treated like a flex. You show someone a photo of your dinner and they act like you deserve a fucking award. You could literally make eggs and toast and someone on TikTok would be like, OMG, husband material. Like, okay. Don't even get me started on the air fryer era. Half of Gen Z really believes they're chefs because they dumped some frozen chicken strips into a $70 Target appliance and hit start. That's not cooking, that's reheating with extra steps. You're not meal prepping, you're just rotating frozen tenders and mozzarella sticks, like you're running a concession stand. Gordon Ramsay would slap that air fryer out of your hands and tell you to touch a pan for once in your life. Even ramen has been hijacked. People, they add an egg to the instant noodles and they call it homemade or gourmet. Oh my god, you sprinkled some garnish on depression. If you know how to season chicken, you're practically a Michelin-starred chef in this generation. Which brings us to food delivery. Food delivery is honestly a gateway addiction. It starts off innocent, like one little Chick-fil-A order. You're like, I deserve this. Next thing you know, it's 11 p.m. and you're ordering a smoothie and a cookie for $28 like you're some kind of tech billionaire on a juice cleanse. And here's the thing, you're not even hungry. You just don't want to stand up. The kitchen is right there, but somehow the idea of making food feels like labor. Like, you want me to microwave something in this economy? So instead, you just scroll through DoorDash like it's a dating app, swipe left on sushi, swipe right on Thai, you spend 45 minutes browsing like you're making a life-altering decision, and then settle for the same thing you always get, overpriced wings that taste like cardboard by the time they show up. And then comes the delivery spiral. You start adding dumb extras, like, yeah, I'll get the garlic bread, and the brownie, and oh, why not throw in a second drink just in case I get thirsty during the meal I'm eating alone in the dark. And then it arrives, cold, wrong sauce, missing utensils, and you still eat it while watching YouTube like a raccoon with Wi-Fi. And after all that, you open your bank app and see $4.97 available. You've got an overdraft trauma and marinara sauce on your shirt. And the worst part, you do it again tomorrow, you sad fuck. Because in your head, somehow, that time it'll be worth it. Spoiler, it won't. You're not eating for convenience. You're chasing a dopamine hit from a soggy burrito and the thrill of opening a brown paper bag. And it doesn't help that grocery shopping is now an extreme sport. The idea of walking into a grocery store and actually planning meals, terrifying. It feels like you're being dropped into a boss fight with zero armor and a half-dead wallet. You walk in like, okay, I just need eggs, bread, and maybe some chicken. 2 minutes later, you're standing in front of the milk aisle having a full-blown identity crisis. Oat, almond, soy, rice, coconut, hemp, lactose-free, fat-free, ultra-filtered, protein-infused, made from vibes. Why are there 74 types of milk? And none of them taste good. They just taste wet. The produce section is worse. You go to grab a tomato and suddenly someone's giving you the side eye because it's like not organic. You're holding up a zucchini, like, am I supposed to wash this or worship it? And let's not even talk about prices. Like, why is a single bell pepper like $1.79? Does the bell pepper have fucking Wi-Fi? Then you go to the frozen aisle, you know, you black out for 10 minutes and you come back with 3 frozen pizzas and a bag of dino nuggets. You pass by things like raw salmon and quinoa and think, oh yeah, I should eat healthier. Then you remember you haven't touched a pan since 2022 and you're not ready to start now. By checkout, your cart looks like a 5-year-old was given $100 and told to go wild. Cereal, Pop-Tarts, energy drinks, 2 types of ice cream, and some random item you forgot existed like banana chips. You leave the store $96 poorer and somehow you still have no idea what you're eating for dinner. So because people are too clueless, scared, and anxious to shop for groceries, you end up settling on DoorDash yet again. You think your burger is $12? Oh, that's cute. Add the delivery fee, the service fee, the we felt like charging you fee, and the it's raining so we double the price fee, and the tip you feel guilt-tripped into leaving, and suddenly you're paying $40 for a fucking sandwich you could have made at home with 2 brain cells while you were high on meth. And God forbid you try to be healthy, like that $14 salad turns into a $38 spiritual loss. Congratulations, you just paid the GDP of a small island nation for 5 leaves and a boiled egg. Even worse is they'll still find a way to fuck up your order. No napkins, no fork, no straw. Your drink is just raw liquid in a sweating cup. You open the bag. It's a crime scene. Fries spilled, sauce leaking, sandwich sideways like it did a backflip in the car. And sometimes you get something completely different than what you ordered. You asked for teriyaki chicken, boom. Shrimp tacos. You asked for no onions, boom. Extra onions in a passive-aggressive note. And when you try to get a refund, the app hits you with, sorry, that item is not available for compensation. Not eligible? I paid $19 for a smoothie and it showed up half full and lukewarm like it rode on someone's lap the whole way here. These apps have the audacity to offer a monthly subscription too, like only $9.99 a month and you can keep getting scammed with no delivery fee. Bro, that's like offering free bullets with a gun you're already shooting me with. At this point, they should just call it what it is. Emotional damage in a paper bag. I think the worst part is in our society, people actually flex this. They'll say it with their whole chest. Yeah, I don't cook, I DoorDash everything. Like that's supposed to impress someone. Like we're all gonna nod and be like, wow, so independent. No, bro, you're not a boss. You are just willingly getting robbed in broad daylight by a chicken sandwich. That isn't like hustle culture. That's financial self-harm. You're out here posting screenshots of like $38 Chipotle orders like it's a badge of honor. Meanwhile, your bank account is gasping for air. One more burrito and it's gonna flatline. And they'll defend it too. Like, I don't have time to cook. Really? You just watched 7 hours of YouTube and reorganized your Discord roles. You had time. You just didn't have the will to peel a carrot. They'll try to turn it into an aesthetic like, oh, I'm so bad. I ordered sushi again, lol. No, you're not bad. You're just broke and full of mercury. They think using food delivery for every meal makes them quirky and like mysterious. Like, yeah, I'm just too chaotic to cook. Hee. No, you just don't want to wash your pan. That's not mysterious. That's called being 23 and basically mentally impaired. And some people are in deep denial. It's not that expensive if you don't tip. Okay. When the driver spits in your food and you get sick and go to the hospital, that bill is probably going to be a bit more more than the tip. At this point, people aren't eating out of convenience. They're eating to avoid responsibility. No groceries, no dishes, no cleanup, just a pile of brown paper bags and shame in your bedroom. You're not living your truth, you're just lazy. So yeah, we're all broke, bloated, and emotionally dependent on strangers bringing us food in paper bags. Cooking, dead. Groceries, optional. But hey, as long as you have $47 and zero shame, you can have a lukewarm quesadilla delivered straight to your door while you rot in bed watching Netflix. The food delivery epidemic isn't just real, it's winning. At this point, the only thing getting cooked around here is your bank account.
Phobia. Yeah, manual labor, you know that.
Advertising has become unavoidable. It's not just commercials anymore. Your phone knows what you want before you even finish thinking about wanting it. You'll casually mention wanting a chair and suddenly every app is like, hey bro, wanna buy 47 chairs? Brands have learned how to hack our brains. They whisper to your wallet like, you deserve this pointless object. You've worked hard today. And somehow it works. People are spending more money now on dumb stuff than any other time in human history. We see one TikTok with dramatic music and a candle that smells like moonlight anxiety, and suddenly we're like, oh yeah, let's add this to my cart. This will heal my trauma. But sometimes, every once in a while, we buy something stupid and accidentally improve our lives. Like, I bought this $3 garlic chopper as a joke, but now I feel like I'm Gordon Ramsay. But most of the time, though, we just donated money to the gadget graveyard under our bed. So today we're breaking down the dumbest purchases we all make and why we keep falling for them, like financially irresponsible goldfish. Alright, starting things off, we have video game controller grips. There was a universal moment in time where every single one of us believed that if we bought those tiny rubber thumbstick grips, it would turn us into an esports legend. Fortnite dropped, aim assist became religion, and suddenly we're on Amazon buying pro gamer precision enhancing thumb grips for $14.99. We thought we'd be cranking 90s like Peterbot by the next morning, but instead these things would make your thumbs extra sweaty, they would fall off mid-gunfight, they would get lost forever in the couch dimension, and make you actively worse at the game. You go from hitting every shot to missing a giant purple llama standing directly in front of you. And if they fall off your controller once, they are gone. Disappeared like they got Thanos snapped. Those grips did not improve your aim. They just made you $20 poorer and more delusional. And if you did get better, it was probably placebo. Placebo meaning your brain convinced you the grip helped, so you tried harder. You didn't improve, your delusion did. We didn't buy the performance upgrade, we bought the confidence, and that made us better. Next up, we have shoe cleaning kits. At some point, we all got convinced we were gonna become professional sneaker restorers. Not wearing the shoes less, not avoiding puddles, no. The solution was clearly a $30 cleaning kit. It always comes with a tiny brush, a mystery soap, a microfiber cloth so small it's basically a coaster, and a YouTube link to a guy just saying to scrub harder. For these, it's really the advertising that always gets you. They turn a shoe that looks like it was dug out of a battlefield into a sparkling brand new Louis Vuitton commercial prop, and then you try it and your results are just a little bit different. You're scrubbing for 2 hours just to get them to look slightly better. I think the worst part about these is that you already had the tools at home. You could have cleaned off the shoes with a toothbrush, soap, water, and a little bit of willpower to not get them dirty next time. You didn't restore your shoes, you restored your ability to waste money confidently. I think people also get scammed because they think the shoe cleaner will act as a shoe restoration because that's what the ads do. Realistically, most of the shoe cleaning kits are only going to clean shoes that are basically clean already. These kits are designed to save shoes that are only anywhere from 10 to 40% dirty. If your shoes are above 50% cooked, these are not going to save them. Next up, we have the VR headset. Look, everyone buys a VR headset with the same delusion that they're gonna use this every day. It's gonna change their life. Then reality hits. You have to spend 45 minutes setting it up by clearing space in your living room so you don't accidentally roundhouse your TV. Then you put it on and you can't see where the real world ends and the coffee table begins. There's always that one moment where you walk forward in a game and immediately crash into a wall, like the Kool-Aid Man in reverse. And the sweat, nobody tells you about the sweat. VR turns your face into a fogged up greenhouse. The games, I mean, they're fun for like a week, but then every session becomes 10 minutes of adjusting straps, 5 minutes of motion sickness, 20 minutes of browsing the store and buying nothing, 2 minutes of actually playing, and then 1 hour of asking yourself why you spent $300 on this. Then the headset enters its permanent job, a very expensive shelf decoration. You don't sell it because you're convinced you'll eventually get back into VR. You won't. VR headsets are the perfect example of you want the idea of it, not the actual experience. Maybe in the future these will become a must-have, but right now they're too expensive and impractical. Next up, we have Bluetooth shower speakers. Shower speakers are one of those purchases that make you feel very smart in the moment and very stupid every moment after. Because what do they actually do? They take your favorite hype song and convert it into muffled hotel hallway audio. You're trying to enjoy the music, but everything sounds like it's being performed underwater by a band that hates you. And sure, they're waterproof, but the battery definitely isn't. It dies the second you start vibing. You know, you'll be mid-chorus like, I'm on top of the world, and then Bluetooth disconnected. Music gone, motivation gone. You're just a naked person questioning your life choices. The suction cup, by the way, that those things have, yeah, it just rarely works. Gravity takes that thing personally. It slowly slides down the wall like it's trying to abandon the situation, and one day you hear a loud thud in the bathroom. It just decided to fall off the wall and destroy itself. The worst part is most people already have like a normal speaker, a JBL or a Bose that works perfectly fine. You can just put it at your sink with the same exact volume and it has better audio. And if you want it to stick to the wall, you can just get one of those like suction cup shelves for the shower. And almost all of the highest selling speakers are already water resistant, so there is literally no point in spending $25 on a shower speaker. Next up, we have pop sockets. Pop sockets were marketed like the invention of the century. You have better grip, it creates the perfect selfie angle, ergonomic phone excellence, they said. What they forgot to mention is you now have a tumor attached to your phone. Try putting it in your pocket, good luck. Your phone now enters sideways, like it's trying to slip into another dimension. Let it sit down on a table, nope. It just wobbles forever, like your phone suddenly developed scoliosis. And that selfie grip feature, yeah, it helps for exactly one selfie before you remember you're gripping a giant button like it's a toddler's toy. Everyone bought one of these, and they bought one with like an either outdated TikTok trend on it, a meme that died in 12 minutes, a galaxy print like it's 2014, a Doge face that slowly haunts you, and now you're walking around with a permanent reminder of one of the worst aesthetic decisions of your life. And they always lose the stickiness, by the way. You'll be scrolling one day and the entire pop socket just falls off. Like it just gave up with your nonsense. I never purchased one of these, but I can only imagine these were probably marked up like 500%. I mean, it's a small piece of plastic that cost like 5 cents to make, and I assume they're selling for what, like 10 bucks, 20 bucks? Like, that's just outrageous. All right, next up we have supplements that you swore would change everything. Every one of us had that one phase where we decide it's time to become a better human. Not by changing habits or working out or eating differently, but it's pills. Pills will fix this. So you drop 80 bucks on pre-workout, protein powder, vitamins, and then you take them for 1 week without changing any of your other habits, and then you look at the container like, why am I not shredded yet? Where's my superhero arc? And the spoiler alert I have for you is nothing is happening. And so you stop taking them, or you forget one day, and then one day becomes 2 days becomes a week, and then you just give up. And now the supplement bottles are sitting in your kitchen staring at you, silently judging you. And then you have the audacity to check the label saying something like, do I take these before the gym, during, or after? You haven't been to the gym. So yeah, supplements don't improve your body, they improve the lie you tell yourself about being motivated. I mean, they work if you actually work out, but most of the time you don't, and so you regret buying them.
Phobia? Yeah. Manual labor, you know that.
Hobbies are supposed to be fun, relaxing, or maybe a way to meet new people, but let's be honest, some hobbies are straight up annoying, weird, or make you the least likable person in the room. So today we're going over the worst hobbies to ever exist, and if you have any of these, get new ones. First off, we have vaping specifically as a hobby. You'll see what I mean. Vaping is bad all around, but there's a very big difference between someone who has a vape pen and hits it a few times a day, and a guy who spends hours on YouTube studying vape tricks to practice and perform. Blowing smoke rings like a dragon is not a hobby, it's just sad. You're carrying around a machine that looks like a car battery to impress high schoolers at the mall. You are not an artist, you're an addict. You're not starting a subculture, you're just making the air worse for everybody at the bus stop. You exhale like you're summoning a demon and it smells like sour mango battery acid. You've got a $90 mod, $40 of juice, and all for what? A TikTok video that gets 12 views and one pity comment that says, yo, that's
sick, bro. And God forbid you're in public, you'll take one hit, blow a cloud the size of a small thunderstorm, and look around like you just did something. You didn't. All you did was fog up the room and make 3 people cough. It's not a performance, it is secondhand embarrassment. And the vape companies themselves are capitalizing on this type of person. Go on Google right now. The amount of stuff they're putting in these vapes is ridiculous. Like, you have an MP3 player built in, a dial pad, it's got Bluetooth compatibility, you can send texts from it. Reminder that these were invented to help people get off smoking. I should never see somebody playing Brick Breaker on a mango-flavored death device. And let's talk about the vape conventions.
Blow the biggest cloud you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3, blow! Oh yeah, check it out. Woohoo!
Literal gatherings of grown men blowing clouds at each other like it's Pokemon battles for people who peaked in 2014. You walk into one and it's just LED lights, dubstep, and the air quality of a fog machine explosion. Why is your vape connected to an app? If your nicotine addiction requires a fucking firmware update, you've gone too far. Oh, I can track my puffs and adjust the wattage from my phone. Bro, you need to be in the head. You don't need RGB lights, USB-C charging, or temperature analytics. It's not a Tesla. It's a glorified fog machine for your lungs. You're not in the future. You're killing yourself. These guys use the website bookmark feature on their computer for a YouTube video called How to Do the Jellyfish Cloud Easy Tutorial. I know I'm going on a tangent, but you see people practicing in the bathroom mirror like they're training for the Vape Olympics. Like, you'll hit a puff, spit around, flick your wrist, and act like you just discovered fire. It's just pollution. I don't think anything on this list is going to be as bad as that, but next up we have being really into coffee. You know, it starts with a fresh press, then it's a cold brew, then it's single origin beans from a mountain no one's ever heard of. Next thing you know, you're $300 deep into gear and telling people that Starbucks is for casuals. You're not enlightened, you're just drinking bitter bean water with a superiority complex. You ever talk to a coffee guy? You ask how their morning was and suddenly you're getting a TED talk about mouth fuel and notes of toasted fig bark. Bro, it's 8 a.m. I don't care what elevation your beans were grown at. I'm just trying not to die before lunch. Dude, these guys, the amount of gear they have into making a fucking coffee is crazy. You've got scales, thermometers, gooseneck kettles, a $500 grinder that sounds like a jet engine, all to make something that still tastes like dirt unless you dump oat milk into it. You go to these guys' kitchen, bro, it's a fucking lab. They're running a caffeine laboratory. There's chemistry going on. Beakers, timers, weird little glass contraptions that look like they came from the Breaking Bad set. And God forbid you ask for cream and sugar. They'll look at you like you just spit in the cup. It ruins the flavor profile, they say. No, it ruins your full fucking vibe. You're not a barista. You're a menace to society. The phrase, "it's never that serious," was made for stuff like this. I like coffee. I drink it every now and then, usually cold, sometimes hot, but it is a very small part of my day, let alone my life, and I just don't understand how people take it so seriously. Next up, we have being a moderator. This could go for anything, but in this case, we're going to talk about moderating for streamers like it's a government job. Some of y'all take being a Twitch mod way too seriously. Like, bro, you're not a digital sheriff. You're just banning 13-year-olds for typing L+ratio during a Valorant match. Relax. You're writing paragraphs in the Discord about chat culture like it's a sacred text. Meanwhile, the streamer is just trying to figure out what map they're on. You've got rules and spreadsheets, timestamps. You're organizing clip folders like you're archiving evidence for the FBI. And when someone breaks the rules, instant power trip. Timeout 600 seconds. Respect the space. Bro, this isn't the UN. It's a guy in gray sweatpants playing Fortnite. And the worst part, you're doing all this for free. You're clocking in every day like it's payroll. Defending some millionaire streamer who forgets your name until they need someone to ban a troll in under 0.2 seconds. If your whole personality is being first in chat and timing out new viewers because they didn't say hi the right way, that's not a hobby. That's Stockholm Syndrome with a wrench icon. And don't even get me started on Discord mods, man. This is less of a hobby and more of a mental illness / condition. You give one dude admin powers in a server and suddenly he thinks he's the king of a digital empire made entirely of anime profile pics and Minecraft screenshots. He's typing essays about the server culture and role hierarchy like he's running a military base, not moderating a group chat called Skibbity Toilet Central. Every decision is a council vote. Someone posts a meme in the wrong channel and it's, I'm gonna have to issue a warning for that, man. This is your second strike, bro, it's not that deep. You're not protecting the sacred lore. You're just gatekeeping emojis. And don't even get me started on the mod applications. 30-question Google Forms asking, what would you do if two users are arguing about Goku versus Saitama at 3 a.m.? Like, I don't know. I'd go outside, man. I'd leave, take a breath of fresh air, touch grass, and 90% of them have a mod-only VC. That's just 5 guys in silence waiting for a reason to feel important. The best part is they treat it like a career. Yeah, I moderate 4 servers, thinking about applying for a 5th. Cool, bro. Let me know when that comes with a 401k and dental. Next up, we have writing fan fiction. Look, bro, we gotta talk about this. When you start writing 8,000 words about how you and your favorite Minecraft YouTuber locked eyes at Trader Joe's, you've gone too fucking far. These are real people. They're not characters in your Wattpad cinematic universe. You've got full-blown plot arcs, romantic tension, fake weddings, and a dude who just wanted to play Bed Wars and go to sleep. The worst part is you write yourself in like it's normal. He looks at me like I'm the only girl in the room. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know you exist. You're writing full-blown romance novels about a man whose biggest achievement last week was yelling, "Let's go," into a webcam. If your hobby involves you putting real living people into made-up love triangles and publishing it online for clout, you're not a writer. You're a digital menace with a keyboard, and you should seriously consider becoming the vape guy. Actually, don't. Fuck, the vape guys are bad, man. Fan behavior exists on a pretty wide spectrum, so if you're a fan of something, you're probably fine. I think one step above being probably fine is when you start making those Instagram sexy edits of characters in your shows. Not gonna lie, I like some of those. They look cool. Make me want to go and rewatch some episodes of something. But then, like, a step up from that, now you're getting a little bit too far. You're like stalking their social medias of the actors and shit. And then we're getting to a point now where you're writing these fan fictions. It's gotta stop.
Phobia? Yeah. Manual labor, you know that.
Addictions are one of those things that everyone's got, but nobody really admits to. Like, yeah, we all think of drugs or gambling, but half of you watching this are addicted to caffeine or checking your phone every 3 minutes, like it's gonna grow legs and walk away. So today we're ranking the most common addictions from the harmless ones that don't really mess with your life to the ones that'll completely cook you if you're not careful. Let's start off with the good ones, the A-tier addictions. These are the ones that if someone calls you addicted, you can just shrug and say, yeah, so what? First, we have music. This one's not even bad. It's like the most socially acceptable addiction out there. If I don't have something playing in the background, it feels weirdly quiet, like I'm stuck in a loading screen. Everyone's got their go-to playlist for whatever they're doing. Cleaning, working, crying, pretending they're in a movie. It's all the same. Music's one of those addictions that actually makes your life better, so yeah, this stays comfortably in A-tier. Next, we have working/grinding. Now, this one depends on what kind of work we're talking about. If you're grinding at something you actually care about, your YouTube channel, your business, whatever, then yeah, be addicted, that's good. But if you're just glued to your computer doing busy work for a job you hate, then that's not ambition, that's just self-torture. Still, being addicted to progress isn't a bad problem to have. We'll leave it in A-tier for now. Then we got friends/socializing. If you're addicted to hanging out with your friends, that is not an addiction at all, that's just being human. Everyone needs people to talk to or chill with. The only time it's a problem is if you literally can't be alone for 5 minutes without going insane. But otherwise, it's a solid A-tier addiction. Go outside, talk to people, touch some grass, whatever helps. Now we have B-tier. All of these are completely manageable and can be just as good as they can be bad. Gaming. This one's fun, but it gets dangerous fast. You hop on for a few games and suddenly it's 4 in the morning and you've accomplished absolutely nothing besides making 12-year-olds cry on Valorant. It's fine if you're playing to relax, but if you're skipping real life to grind a battle pass, that's when it gets weird. Still though, gaming's a good time. It belongs in B-tier. Caffeine's another one that's fine until it's not. Like 1 cup of coffee to wake up is cool. 3 energy drinks before noon. Now you're sweating and talking faster than an auctioneer. I don't know how people drink 5 of those a day and still call it normal. B tier because it's useful, but you'll end up shaking like you're possessed if you go overboard. Then we have shopping/retail therapy. Buying stuff you don't need just because it feels good. We've all done it. You tell yourself you deserve it and suddenly Amazon's at your door 3 times a week. It's not bad until your credit card statement looks like a horror movie. So yeah, it's fine in moderation. You just don't want to hit that I'm buying happiness phase. We'll keep it B tier. So that's B tier, not really harmful, but if you're not careful, it starts eating up your time, money, or sleep schedule. Moving on to C tier, these are things that you should probably chill out with a bit. Social media/doom scrolling. This one's sneaky because it doesn't even feel bad while you're doing it. You open your phone for just a minute, and the next thing you know, you've been scrolling for 2 hours, and your brain just feels like a soup. You didn't even enjoy any of it, you just zoned out like a zombie. It's not ruining your life, but it's definitely wasting it. So yeah, C tier. You'll live, but you'll rot a little doing it. Similarly, we have online validation.
This one's kind of tied to social media. People get hooked on attention like it's oxygen. You post something, it gets a few likes, and suddenly you're checking your phone every 5 seconds like it's a stock ticker. It's harmless at first, but then you start deleting posts that didn't do well. That's when it gets sad. Definitely C tier. Not destructive, but definitely corny if you let it ruin your life. Moving on to love addiction. Some people just need to be in a relationship. They can't go a week being single without thinking their life's falling apart. They jump from person to person like they're scared to just sit with their own thoughts. It's not the worst addiction, but it messes with your emotions way too much to be healthy. C tier. Harmless in small doses, exhausting when it's constant.
Listen, it's summer, you've got time, you've got your phone, so why not make some money? Free Cash is the easiest way to earn real cash online. You try out apps, play games, or take quick surveys, and they pay you. The average user cashes out in just 17 minutes, and over $50 million has already been paid out. You can cash out instantly with gift cards, PayPal, crypto, and a ton of other options. No waiting, no points, just real money. It's free to sign up, super easy to use, and you can start earning today. Guys, don't let summer leave you broke. Hit the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code on screen and start now. Big thanks to Free Cash for sponsoring this video.
Moving on to D tier. These are when things start fucking up your life. Vaping. This one's bad. You're literally just addicted to breathing flavored air. There's no upside. It doesn't make you feel good. It just keeps you from feeling bad. And people act like it's a personality trait. Like they'll pull it out mid-conversation just to blow a cloud for no reason. It's gross, it's expensive, and your lungs will hate you for it. D tier. Next we have alcohol. Drinking is fun if you keep it chill, but once you're drunk every weekend, it stops being fun and it starts being sloppy. We all know that one guy who gets emotional after 2 shots and starts hugging people like it's his family reunion. It's okay socially, but if it's a routine, it's just sad. D tier because hangovers are basically your body begging you to stop. Next we have staying up late. This one's sneaky because it doesn't feel like a problem. You're just chilling, watching YouTube, talking to friends, but then the sun comes up and you realize you're cooked. It's peaceful in the moment, but it screws your entire day up the next day. You're tired, you're moody, and you blame everyone except yourself. So 100% D tier. You're not hurting anyone, but you're definitely running on fumes. Moving into E tier, this is the real damage territory. This is where things don't just mess up your habits, they start eating into your actual life. First, we got weed. Weed isn't some evil thing, but the way people use it turns into one. If you're high all the time, you're not relaxing anymore. You're just zoning out from reality. People start saying that it helps me focus, while they haven't finished a single task in a week. If you're doing it occasionally, fine, but if you need it to function, that's a problem. It'll hold you back without you even realizing it. Next up, we have gambling. This one's just a trap. It's built to make you lose and feel like you're close to winning. You hit one small win and you think you figured it out, but then you lose 10 times that, just trying to chase it back. It's the fastest way to go from this is kinda fun to why is my rent money gone? E tier for sure. Not as instantly life-ending as hard drugs, but it's up there. Then we have junk food. This one creeps up on you too. Fast food's everywhere. It's cheap, it's easy, but if you eat that stuff nonstop, you'll just start feeling like garbage. Your body is slow, your mood's worse, and you're wondering why you're tired all the time. It's not dramatic, it's quite literally wrecking you. Obesity shortens your lifespan significantly, and fast food is so common in our society that this one sits in E tier. Alright, now we have F tier, the worst of the worst. These are the addictions that don't just mess with your life, they take it over. First off, we got the hub. This one's way more common than people want to admit. It fries your brain over time, makes normal stuff feel boring, and messes with how you look at people. It's not even about attraction anymore, it's just a constant need for a quick dopamine hit. You start losing focus, confidence, motivation, it drains everything that actually makes you feel human. This one's F tier for sure. It might seem harmless, but it just wrecks you from the inside. Next, we have hard drugs. This is the bottom of the barrel. There's no funny way to talk about this, it just ruins everything. You lose your health, your money, your relationships, all of it goes fast. It's one of those things where you don't even realize how far you're gone until it's too late. Instant F tier. Stay far, far away from this one. Next up, we got cheating. This one doesn't just ruin your health, it ruins everything else. You don't just lose the person you were with, you lose every bit of trust they ever had in you. And it's not even the act itself, it's what goes after. The guilt, the broken confidence, the paranoia that follows everyone involved. It messes up the person who got cheated on and the one who did it. Easily F tier. People throw away relationships that have gone on for years just to have a quick dopamine. Next up, we have self-destruction / chaos addiction. This one's basically gambling, but the bet is your life. It's like that need to feel something so bad that you'll do the dumbest, most dangerous thing just for the adrenaline. Speeding, running from the cops, fighting, cliff jumping, playing games that could go wrong so fast. It's all the same high. You're not chasing fun anymore, you're chasing that split second where your heart's racing and your brain finally feels awake. And yeah, one bad move and it's over. No second chances, no I'll learn from this. It's the purest kind of chaos addiction there is. Full F tier because it can really end you in one shot. Now let's do some honorary mentions for each tier. In A tier, the honorary mention is exercise. exercise. I mean, if you're addicted to working out, just good for you. In B tier, we have texting. You know, if you check your phone every 10 seconds, you know, your attention span's cooked, but I guess it can be social. In C tier, we have online shopping. It's very easy to buy shit online, so it's a little bit different than retail therapy just because it's like the one-click impulse buys. Honorary D tier mention is lying because it doesn't even feel like an addiction. Some people lie so often, it's like they can't help it, even when there's nothing to gain. You can recover from it, but only if you stop doing it before everyone stops caring. E tier, we have catastrophizing. This is when you get addicted to looking at stuff that makes you think the world is ending. Every headline feels like the apocalypse and you just can't look away. It stresses you out, makes you hate other people, makes you think the world's ending. I don't know, it makes you into a freak. All right, wrapping it up with an F tier honorable mention, we have violence. This one's super obvious. You know, if you're getting off on fighting, hurting others, or putting yourself in a violent situation, you're just a fucking idiot. Do not do this. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for 100,000 subscribers, and check me out on Spotify. I appreciate it so much. See you guys later.